Oh, so good. So good. All right, what do you got in the news there, man?
Well, first up, the DOJ investigating SoCal homelessness spending for fraud and hints at arrests. California's new attorney announced Tuesday he's investigating billions of dollars of homeless spending for fraud and corruption and promised to arrest individuals found to have violated federal law.
Yeah,
Bill Asali. Yeah, it's a new guy.
Okay, listen. How can it go any other way? There's so much money being allocated to something.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a bullet train or homeless or whatever, you're just going to start writing checks for billions of dollars.
I'll take the money.
Then some of that money's going to go somewhere. I mean, it's just like the PPE stuff or whatever the COVID fraud, people getting money from prison. Yeah. You know all about it.
I know the guy who did it, allegedly.
The guy who's in prison now, the guy who wrote the rap song
He was in the prison doing that PPE stuff. I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy that was the guy.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Well, how is it possible for the government just to print money and just start pushing it out into the trillions without a bunch of grift and graft? I mean, of course it's going to happen. Now, here's kind of the problem with Los Angeles. And here's what I would say if I was pocketing a lot of homeless money or anything.
All right.
If somebody said to me, look, Adam, we're going to put you in charge of graffiti removal. We're going to give you trillions of dollars. We're going to billions. I would say to my people, okay, let's all buy Lamborghinis. Let's all start doing a lot of coke. Let's all eat caviar for breakfast. But we got to get rid of some of the graffiti because eventually they're going to just be walking around going, what the fuck is going on? We're giving you all these millions of dollars and billions of dollars, and I still see more graffiti than there was before we started giving you the money. So the problem with all the homeless shit in LA is it's the money spent with zero results. I don't think most people, let's just say somebody said, look, for every, let's see, what's a billion is 1,000, wait, is that 100 million? No, that's 1,000 million.
1,000 million.
1,000 million. If somebody said, look, for every 1,000 million we put into this, there's going to be like a couple hundred million that are just going down the fucking toilet. Like, I'd go, all right, well, at least there'll be 800 million worth of results. But we don't get any results. Yeah. We get more of what we don't want. So we get more graffiti and then 24 billion spent on graffiti removal. So
there are 75,000 homeless individuals here in Los Angeles. And I'm sorry, that's in California.
Right.
45,000 in Los Angeles.
Right. And so here's what they can't. This is an ongoing problem, and it's not the homeless problem. Did you get a boner when you met Dolph?
Man, Dolph Lundgren is an icon.
Fucking.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, mayhem had lived when he walked in here, man.
I just came from sparring, and then Drago's here. What the hell?
Yeah,
I love this show.
Find that. There's an article or tweet that I told Andrew to find about homelessness in a new bill. I think there's some new bill in Los Angeles, or California bill. But here's what I've said. Okay, listen to me, everyone. I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Don't do it.
I had, as you guys know, Gavin Newsom was in here years ago, and I said, here's who the homeless are, and here's what the problem is. And he told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And then Dr. Drew, who's a board-certified physician and an addiction medicine specialist, tried to volunteer his time for the LA City Council to talk about the homeless problem, and they kicked his ass out. They didn't want him volunteering.
Yeah, I
they
know
would
a lot
not
about
take
this
a
subject,
board-certified physician. Okay, so you have 10 yentas in the city council who know nothing about addiction, dealing with a problem that is solely about addiction, kicking off a doctor who specializes in addiction. So do they want to solve this problem? I sure as fuck.
They sure want to dance around looking like they're trying to solve the problem.
If I said, look, we got a problem here with this warehouse because it's always leaking, the roof is always leaking, there's water everywhere, and the furniture gets ruined, and a lot of my important stuff, documents, they get ruined by the water. We got a leaky problem, and there's all of us sitting around going, man, this is a problem. This is a problem. And then some point, some guy goes, I'm a certified roofing contractor, and I would like to volunteer to come to your warehouse to discuss this problem of a leaky roof, and I'd go, get the fuck off my property. Get out of here. And we'd all circle the wagons, and then the fucking LA Times would write stories about the roofer saying he was no good. I was like, oh, okay, problem solvers. How would one solve any problem if one cannot recognize the root of the problem? And so if somebody said, those Twin Towers are gone. What happened? They were possessed by the devil.
I know.
So they fell down. Okay. No. I think airplanes hit them. And I think now we have reinforced cockpit doors now, so airplanes don't hit other shit. But if you just said they were possessed by the devil, then we would not have reinforced cockpit doors, and maybe more airplanes would be hitting more stuff.
Yeah.
I can't read this from here, Dawson. Maybe you can read it. But it's an assembly bill. What is the assembly bill, Dawson?
Homelessness is a policy failure primarily caused by the affordability of housing in California.
Okay, not true.
Yeah.
Not true.
That's
I don't know
inaccurate,
anyone who's ever been homeless because of their paycheck, but keep going.
With over 1 million extremely low-income households spending more than one-half their income on rent, and not the result of personal failings of people experiencing homelessness.
They're homeless because they're junkies. Mm-hmm. They're fucking junkies, or they're crazy, or they're both. That's why they're homeless. I used to have 3 roommates in a 1-bedroom apartment. I shared a futon with a dude. And then later on, me and another dude had his brother's bunk beds in the same fucking room, like we were 9, except we were 23. But imagine trying to bring a chick back to a bunk bed.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but, okay, sorry, keep going.
You got to hear the rest of this. The housing crisis is the result of decades of failed housing policy, coupled with structural and institutional racism. And a lack of sufficient investment in affordable housing and other programs to address homelessness.
Oh, okay.
I think take the race thing out, and it's kind of true that, yeah, the rent is really high everywhere.
Yes.
But that's no excuse to spin out into a drunken stupor and just be homeless all the time, met out of your mind.
I don't know. Look, who wrote this fucking retarded bill?
Looks like Laura Powell.
Oh, dumb chick number 7 who's fucking running California into the ground. All right.
She's a homeless expert?
Not anything. All right.
Well, she's got an Esquire at the end of her name, so she may be a lawyer.
All right. So good luck solving this problem that you do not know what the root cause is. So
we're going to do a full audit. Bill Asaley is calling for some heads, it sounds like.
Well, okay, first off, you fucks can't build housing. Other people build housing, but you will not let them build housing because you regulate them to death. So it's not affordable, so they can't do it. So all of your regulation is what caused not enough housing. But even if there was enough housing, drug addicts they like doing drugs. And there's plenty of shelters, and they do not avail themselves of the shelter beds because the rule is you got to be clean to use the shelter.
I'll tell you from my
experience
that there isn't a lot of shelters. And from my experience, that guys get stuck in no man's land of just a drug haze. And
I should not say a lot of shelter beds. There are resources that one could avail themselves of.
It's true.
If you are a sober mother who's freshly divorced, fucking Gavin Newsom's comments, go fucking pull them up. pull up his take on homelessness. He's insane. He's
Backwards,
clinically insane. He thinks it's a mom. If there is a mom, if that mom has a couple of kids, and that mom is sober, and that mom is divorced, and that mom has a work ethic, there are places and things, there's an apparatus for her to go.
I went through it.
And first, yeah, it's her. Okay, first thing, it's her family.
Yeah,
we've all had people crash on the sofa. I've had plenty of dudes crash on my sofa, and I've crashed on other people's sofas.
Yeah.
And we had homelessness overnight, as I've said. Palisades, Malibu, Altadena. Overnight, there were thousands and thousands of Los Angelenos without a home. So this is your definition: no home. Did any of them sleep on the sidewalk, or did they use their apparatus? They got on the phone. They said, "Hey, man, I need to crash out," and they got up and they did it.
At Dr. Drew's house.
At Dr. Drew's house. That's what I did. The point is it's not about housing. If it was about housing, then those people who were dehoused would sleep. A percentage of them would sleep. I would reckon 0 people were put out by the fire spent the night outside the next night. That's 0%. So it's not about that. Wait, do you have that clip?
They camped out in their G-Wagons.
It's so good. It's so good.
All right.
Oh, maybe we don't have it.
Little technical difficulty.
We have it. It just decided not to play. Stand by.
Oh, okay. You just give a thumbs up when it's playing. Look, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but what I'm saying is how would one solve a problem that one does not identify whatever that problem is? I mean, you know it.
They didn't mention it in there that it's a drug-related problem. They mentioned more of the housing angle of it, which is a portion.
But also racism in Los Angeles in 2025? How's that factor in?
You know, it's the pepper grinder of racism that they use every once in a while just to sparkle in there, to get the agenda across.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe it's not working correctly, Dawson. Huh? This notion of the guy's a hardworking, God-fearing family member. The guy's a hardworking, job and now had to family member. We'll figure it out.
Oh, I like the remix.
We'll do it. Yeah. Put some mute. Put a little Grace Jones under there.
Pete on that thing.
This notion of the guy's a hardworking, God-fearing family member who lost his job and now had to take to the streets is total and utter bullshit.
But what about the picture of real homelessness, which is a poor mom with 2 kids with a husband who took off and left her, who's sitting there struggling on that minimum wage job, and all of a sudden now is out in the streets and sidewalks desperately trying to find some help, get her life back, can't get those kids into child care.
I think that's what happened to
Can't
Jewel.
afford them. That's the tough thing.
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
That's a picture of family homelessness in this country.
That's a postage stamp.
No,
the real picture is bigger than the AIDS quilt, and those are crazy junkies.
Yeah, but no. So what? No, see,
but no. Well, how are you going to solve a fucking problem if you just go, but no? All right. So now he's in charge, and he's worried about moms that have been divorced and have a full-time job, and they're out on the street, except for that doesn't exist.
It's like the Hallmark version of homelessness. I seen
Also,
real homelessness.
I don't know
something else.
You know what I can't figure out about that fucking life-size, fucking full-size tard over there named Gavin Newsom? Who's he worried about offending? I don't know. What's his constituency? Oh, yeah, meth heads and junkies and, people with deep mental. I guess his constituency are people with deep mental issues. What's wrong? Who are you offending? You just go... Look, it's a lot of drugs.
Well, they
and it's a lot of mental problems.
Independent.
And we need to clean it up. Why are you painting a picture of homelessness that literally doesn't exist?
Rosie.
And then so when he said that, we had a homeless problem, and now we have a tenfold homeless problem because he said homeless was his thing. Listen, everybody. His 2 biggest things are homelessness, problems, and the bullet train. Let's give a grade score on how he's doing over the last decade on homeless problem and the bullet train. Is there such a thing as an F minus, or is it just an F?
Participation. He showed up to work.
FUU? Like what? Look, if you were super generous, if you're the biggest fan of Gavin Newsom
Which I
ever, and you were like, I'm going to give him a score, I'm going to take the homeless problem, and I'm going to take the bullet train. And by the way, those are his passion projects. That's what he's passionate about. And it's come out of his own mouth 1,000 times. I would be super generous and go, I'll give him an F on the homeless and a D- on the bullet train just because I'm in a good mood or something. I mean, it's a fucking failure. He's a failure.
Keeps getting elected, though. Huh?
We have a great montage. From starting in 08. 08, we have a great montage of Gavin Newsom and his train.
You can get down to L.A. in 2.5 hours, $55. In California, we're still debating high-speed rail. What a joke.
Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this
2010.
new high-speed rail.
I personally have been supportive of the high-speed rail project
11.
since my time as mayor of the city and county of San Francisco.
The project is no longer a $33 billion project.
18.
The project's years and years behind. The project's wildly over budget. That doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
You can get phase one done, which in essence is from Bakersfield to Silicon Valley.
We do have the capacity
19.
to complete a high-speed rail link between Merced and Bakersfield. Now, I know some critics are going to say, well, that's a train to nowhere.
Taxpayers.
We have a real federal partner
21.
with our high-speed rail system, an incredible opportunity to finish the work. High-speed rail was mentioned, $4.2 billion
22.
is being requested of the legislature to finish the job. To someone who's all in on the high-speed rail,
23.
the high-speed rail, not as a rail project, but an economic
24.
development project. $3.6
25.
billion. It's about damn time we have a high-speed rail system.
I can't even get to Merced.
It's kind of fun. It'll be fun when someone is able to put this montage together 30 years from now, and there's just a guy who looks like Gandalf on there with like a long gray beard and a cane, like a staff, and wearing a
You shall
robe,
not board.
talking about high-speed rail, because we'll have the technology to go from young, vibrant Gavin Newsom to old, decrepit Gavin Newsom talking about high-speed rail.
Gonna have
It's
a
gonna be
Gavin Newsom cloned.
My kids are I'm gonna tell them both. Look, when you guys are about 45 or 50, you're gonna have the greatest montage ever. It's gonna be a man's life span
A
talking
jar
about
in a head.
rail.
Talking about high-speed rail.
Jesus fuck.
I'm in a head and jar.
Christ.
That's 17 years, almost 18 years.
It's been going on, man. I'm just trying to get up to the party in San
He can't
Francisco.
do things. He's not functional or capable. I don't know what people want.
The thing that gets me is all the people in California who absolutely adore this man. He can do no
That's the
wrong.
last thing.
You got a lot of riz,
last
I gotta
thing
tell you.
My mom told me before she died, I'm voting for Gavin Newsom. I'm like, okay, I guess you don't pay taxes or do anything. I don't
During
know.
the lockdowns, one of my friends called me up and said, "Well, I'm really glad we got Gavin Newsom as our governor because he's going to save us."
You know,
You're a fucking idiot.
You know the fucking problem? The thing that's funny about all this? I love any clip from like 2020, 2021, 2022, especially any Democratic clip where the person is on the mic bloviating and everyone behind him is wearing a mask, but the one person with their mouth open that's yelling about stuff does not have a mask on, and everyone just went, yeah, that's how we're going to do this. And so it's like, I will sit silently with my mask on in the back, and then when it's my turn to bloviate, I'll pull the mask off and start spreading disease. Okay.
You know, the latest thing I saw in some kind of Twitter thread was that people are not wearing masks because they're afraid to stand out from the public and make a stand for safety. Whereas before, when we did stand up and make a stand for FU totalitarianism, we were ridiculed for not doing the same thing as everyone else.
All right, let's do one more story in here.
All right, man, it's a revolution right now. The Minecraft-obsessed teen boys are destroying movie theaters.
What is going on with this movie?
Man, the game is supposed to be building things up, but the teens just wrecking stuff. It's a viral meme that everybody's in on when the chicken jockey comes out, which is like a rare Easter egg character in the video game. The kids go ballistic, throw popcorn everywhere, soda. Check it out. What a fun time, man. God, I wish I was 12. I would go fuck ass wild.
I gotta tell you, when I was young. Okay, a couple things.
They're comparing it to a Rocky Horror Picture Show, like kind of a vibe for Gen Z where they're just going wild for this thing. I'm into it. It's infectious.
Yeah, it's fun. I haven't seen the movie.
I would hate if I worked at AMC.
Okay, the throwing of the popcorn, I would never engage in such folly because that thing is like $11.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm eating that whole thing. And by the way, I'm eating shit off the ground.
These are suburban kids. They got disposable income.
One of my roommates used to like when a girl would break up with him, he'd give him a pie in the face, you know, and
wasteful. Yeah, I
would come and he would give, and it wasn't shaving cream; it was like Dupars or 4 and 20 pies, and then I would come home. And I'd open the fridge. I see a fucking pie from 4 and 20 pie in a box, and I'd go, Donnie, where we get this pie? Let's eat this pie. He'd go, no, I got hit Melanie Redmond in the face with it. I go, but why don't we eat it? I go, no, she broke up with me. I got to hit her with the pie. I go, when are you going to hit her with the pie? You go, well, she's coming over at like 8. I go, where are you going to do this? I mean, he said, well, I have to hide the pie on the bumper of your truck. I have to keep it out there because word has gotten out that I hit people with the pie, so they don't want to come up to the door. You know, I said, well, take a walk, then I'll get it off the bumper. I went out. When he did it to Danielle Chaikin in her driveway,
you licked her face.
I went out and ate the fucking pie off the driveway. I picked up the pie from her driveway.
Yeah.
And brought it back into her house and ate it. I mean, it had gravel in it. Because that's how into pie.
I always imagine you barefoot with like overalls on, all disheveled, with your hair every which way, just like country bumpkin.
Fishing through a dumpster.
Exactly.
I took the pie home from my pie eating contest at North Hollywood High. I took the pie off of Daniel Chaikin's driveway. I took another pie off of Otsego Street.
Pie's a real through line in your life, Carolla.
Pies were expensive, for me, and they were delectable.
I'm gonna cheat on my diet. I think I'm having a pie today.
I was like, cake, give me a break, but pie, I fucking love me some pie. So I would never take a tub of popcorn and just launch it into the air.
But you can understand, right, the vibe. I think a lot of people are saying, oh, they're real stuffy pearl clutching, but I'm admiring it. I wish I was in on it.
I like it. It's the straight man's Rocky Horror Picture Show is basically what this has turned into. And they even bring chickens into the theater.
Yeah, they're getting weird with it. The meme expands, you know. Anytime you meme, you can't just stay on the same level of meme. It's got to go up and up and up until you got a chicken involved.
Is this movie, what's it on Rotten Tomatoes? Is it
45%?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's being panned by the critics. They're saying it's garbage, but I mean, it's an IP that has been popular for 10 years. Kids have grown up with it. Like, it was like their first iPad game, and now they're like 11, 12, 15 years old.
I'm the worst dad ever because whenever my son would start getting into this shit.
Yeah. Oh, 47 to change.
For 88 with the people. Whenever my son would start getting into this shit, I'm such a bad dad. Like he got into Pokemon. Okay.
He just slapped the cards out of his hand.
You're going to regret this decision one day, this Pokemon stuff. And he goes, I like Pokemon. I go, yeah, you like it now, but you're going to look back and be embarrassed.
Why? Really?
Because it's nonsense. I know. You want to build a soapbox racer or something like that? Like, I'm all in a stupid Pokemon crap. Get the fuck out of here. So I told him, you're just not gonna. And then when he was like 15, he wanted to do something else or something. And I was like, remember our Pokemon conversation? Yeah. Remember? Now you're embarrassed? Yeah. I said, all right. Keep that in mind, because I'll tell you in advance.
But you act like you came out the womb swinging the hammer. You picked up interest as time went on and got rid of some, I'm sure. I ain't seen you boxing in a while.
I can only shadow box.
I hear you.
I was into Hot Wheels.
Oh, okay.
Got into
Me
Hot
too.
Wheels.
I was
got into Hot Wheels. Never got into the Matchbox for some reason. I was into Hot Wheels.
So
I don't know
that's
what that was.
Pokemon, though. That's in the same. You collect them all.
I traded them, some Hot Wheels, to a kid for. What are those cards, Dawson? Garbage Pail?
Oh, those are
Garbage Pail
badass.
Kids, yeah.
Wait, but what were the ones that had like fake brands, like Comet, but it was called Vomit, and it was like whatever that was? Was that Garbage
Yeah,
Pail?
it was Garbage
I think
Pail
it was.
Kids. Yeah, they had like all different styles of art. There was like a different.
They were
kid.
like the Weird Owl of trading cards. They were like someone else came up with the product, and you went from my Sharona to my Bologna or something. But the cards were like products, and I made a bad deal. I was thinking about this the other day. I realized I was like, I had Hot Wheels, and I traded this kid like a Hot Wheel for a car.
Oh,
the fucking card was worth a penny, and the Hot Wheels were like $2. And I just said, like, here's 2 Hot Wheels. All right, here's 2 cards. Stupid. It was like you trading your car for a moped.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice. They're going to mandate you get it on. Welcome, Dean Kane, into the studio. Always good to see you, my friend.
Absolute pleasure.
Dean, very interesting guy. Lots of stuff going on. We have things in common. Little Angels, name of the movie, Angel Studios. Great guys over there. Love those guys out in Provo. And it's streaming on angel.com. And support those guys because they need support, not that they're struggling, and that they are part of the new world order of tired of getting kicked around by Hollywood and, told to mask up, so they just go to Provo and do their own thing, right?
Yeah, when we didn't have masks on. Actually, we shot this Little Angels during COVID, so we had a lot of mask issues. And in fact, a third of our budget, I think, we spent on COVID compliance. Might as well have flushed all that down the drain or just burned it up.
Yes. So there's you and I probably followed about the same trajectory in this business to a certain degree, which is in the beginning, nobody really cared about anything. They just need you to show up and be sort of semi-sober, do your job, and then you'd get paid and you'd leave. And that would be about it. And then a thing started. And it probably started around Obama era, where they started to kind of go, "Did you vote for Obama?" And it was and I was always agnostic about things. I grew up sort of atheist in the valley with a hippie mom, welfare, and just fucking hung out. And I have any real thoughts. We didn't go to church. I didn't know. No one in my family owned a gun. And nobody in my family was remotely religious. And so people hung out and did what they did, but there was no conservative. Charlton Heston was conservative when I was a kid. I didn't know anyone in my family owned a suit or had a short haircut or anything, or Bible. There wasn't a gun or Bible anywhere near my house. And that's how I grew up. Now, how did you grow up?
Pretty similar. My parents were hippies in Malibu. I mean, I grew up in Malibu. When I was 5 years old, we moved to Malibu, lived in Paradise Cove, which is beautiful, but it was a trailer park.
Right.
So everyone was like, "Oh, you grew up in Malibu. It's great. It's so glamorous." No, it wasn't, because we didn't have a lot of money.
It was rural.
It was very rural and beautiful.
Yeah.
And their best friends were the Penns, Leo and Eileen Penn. So Sean Penn, Chris Penn, Michael Penn. I grew up with those guys. Chris Penn and I were close in age, a year apart. All those other kids grew up out there.
Penn.
Oh, yeah. Well,
fun guy.
Real fun guy. Well, Chris was wonderful, and bless him. And I played sports with him all the time and such. Mm-hmm. Sean's obviously still around and doing well. I don't agree with his politics, but I love the guy. So, and that's a thing that people don't seem to understand these days, is you can disagree politically and still be friends.
Yeah.
Well, I can. A lot of people can't.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up, and you grew up just sort of hippie, SoCal, agnostic, something. And, but then subjects started coming up, you know what I mean? And I was just like, well, listen, I don't want to pay a whole bunch in taxes and get nothing in return, But that seemed like a pretty common sense kind of thought.
It is.
For me. And other things would pop up, like, well, I want the border secure. Because, if you live in Los Angeles, well, as a matter of fact, I saw Sean Penn at Michael Madsen's wake at the Vista Theater last Friday. And, LA's big. And if you live here and you live there are parts of it you'll never see.
Oh, yeah.
Or parts of it you haven't seen in 20 years. But all of a sudden, Waze takes you to the Vista Theater from Malibu.
Right.
Or La Cañada, and all of a sudden I'm going down streets I haven't been down in a while. And I'm going down through, Koreatown, whatever, and I see street vendors, and I'm not talking about ice cream cones. I'm talking about full shacks with roofs and tarps hanging down and all the way down the sidewalk. I can't see what businesses or stores are even in the mini mall. I can't see it because it's blocked.
If there's any in there anymore.
If there's any in there. And it is literally 3 blocks of salsa and chopping and generators running and food and chicken and I'm like, this is a complete street takeover, but it's completely what Tijuana. Actually, sorry, it's a lot further gone than Tijuana was when I was young and would go there.
We used to go there and run around, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd see little girls selling chiclets on the streets and guys making tacos, but they did not take over the entire sidewalk. So if you live here, you have thoughts. And you have thoughts about, like, well, maybe if we pay the most in gas prices, there shouldn't be as many potholes.
What a concept.
Maybe we should get the border taken care of so the place isn't just littered with street vendors, and a couple basic thoughts like that. Not what I would consider conservative thoughts. Just thoughts.
Common sense.
Basic thoughts. Yeah, no, I don't want the homeless taking over the parks.
No.
I got kids. I want to go to the park.
You want to go take your dog to the park. You want to be able to have your kids go out there and play and make that safe. LA has encouraged homelessness. They've paid for it. They've encouraged, giving needles and drugs to people encourages it. Giving a stipend to people encourages it. Not enforcing laws encourages it.
The thing about homeless people is, by definition, they can move around. I move around. I got to pull up stakes. You know what I mean? I got to get a U-Haul up in here. I got cars and trailers, and it's some effort. Homeless is just that. You can go where the wind takes
over there.
you. Yeah. Right. So if somebody says, look, the getting's a little better over here because they provide more and they have more shelters and they don't judge and they won't scrape you off the sidewalk and put you somewhere, then why would you be homeless in a place that was difficult? Why not just migrate to a place that's easy? I mean, it's
here.
Yeah, it's sort of, the homeless is sort of like saying there's a fence. And there's a long fence, and we want to get to the other side of it. And you go, okay, well, down 100 yards, there's a hole. And you go, okay, well, I'm not going to try to build a ladder and climb over. I'll just walk over to where the hole. I'll go to where the hole is. That's what homeless. And California's the hole.
That's why we have, I guess, almost half of the nation's homeless here in this state, which used to be my home state. Used to be.
Now, back to the sort of politics of it. I am simply pragmatic and trying to fix problems. And so I would like less homeless, and I would like lower gas prices and less potholes and things like that. Now, I don't find any of that to be a controversial stance.
Nope.
Is what I'm saying. And by the way, you want to be transgender, but you can't walk into the girls' locker room if you still got your junk as a dude. Okay.
And leave the kids alone.
Right. We're super basic, straightforward. Everybody on any, Sean Penn would have agreed with all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
15 years ago.
100%.
No problem.
Right. I would think he would.
And then something started, and they just started on some sort of crusade that is pretty Orwellian, and there's lots of shades of history in it. And then you had a choice. The choice was go along with whatever the new world order is that they're creating, or stop and announce I'm not going along with it.
And then get ostracized and called a Nazi.
Right. I was talking to Dr. Drew about this, literally writing in here about 15 minutes ago, and he said, well, he got sucked into this, or he could have been sucked into it a lot because he is naive.
But he's handsome.
I know. And I said, that's a French word, but say it with an accent, would you please? He speaks fluent French.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Of
Of course he does.
Given.
So he said, I'm naive. And I said, I'm naive too, Drew. And I am naive in that I don't lie, so I don't assume other people lie. So when people go, I can't come into work because I rolled my ankle, I just go, he rolled his ankle. But he's probably fishing. But okay. But I'm naive, you know. And by the way, it shouldn't be a pejorative, naive.
No.
It just means you believe people for what they say and what they say they're going to do. And that's who I am.
Trusting and, yes, in a heartbeat.
Right. So he said he was naive. And I said, no, I'm naive too, Drew, but your problem is you care what other people think of you. And I said, I'm naive, but I don't care as long as I'm right. And he said, you're right. I did care a little too much about what other people think of me. And I thought, well, if you care what other people think of you, and that's all Hollywood is,
yep.
One big care what other people think of you hamper, and we're all in it, then yes, you're going to be easily manipulated.
Absolutely, 100%. I am naive in that I don't care. You know what I mean? I refused. My dad is a director. He has told me along the way, even as an actor, don't talk about yourself, don't tell your own personal stories, keep your political opinions quiet, and I didn't listen to any of it. I couldn't, because at a certain point in time, I felt like I have to say something.
How much of this is I loved football? I know you love football. I played a ton of football. I know you played a ton of football. You played a higher level than I did. But I got 11 years of pad football in because I started when I was 7, which is
oh my
nuts.
Gosh. Yeah, that's
I was
a little
playing
young
tackle football for the East Valley Trojans at 7.
Nice. I think we played you guys.
Where'd you play?
I played Malibu Mustangs, baby.
No, we were Burbank Vikings and Northridge Knights and Chatsworth Chiefs.
We got over and played a couple of your squads, I think, at some point. I guess we didn't play. I'm 59 now, so I don't know.
We're about the same age, but the East Valley Trojans, we would play the Sun Valley Falcons and the whatever.
I remember West Valley Eagles.
Eagles.
We played them.
Yes.
We didn't go to the East Side guys. We were afraid of you guys. We'd take the West Side guys.
Yeah, the West Valley Eagles. I think they were good at some point.
They mopped the floor with the Malibu Mustangs, I'll tell you that.
I would have loved to play a team from Malibu. And
we were so bad.
So I started at 7, and I got a lot out of that, but mainly I just got kind of tough.
Yeah.
I just got tough. And I was just like, I don't know, not really headstrong, just to kind of put the mask on. You're going to hurt yourself. I just, fine. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
And that was always my sort of football mentality, which I then took into other businesses, right? And I imagine you had that sort of base.
100%. Well, that's the thing I love about football, and I always use football as a metaphor for life. You're gonna find somebody bigger, faster, and stronger. Always. You're never gonna be the biggest or the fastest or the strongest. You can work your tail off, and it's tangible. You work your tail off, suddenly you are in a better position. You hit harder. You knock people down. But you're gonna get knocked down, and you got to get back up. And that's a big metaphor for life. You're doing great. You can't do it on your own. You got 10 other teammates on the field with you. You need your D. I'm a free safety. I need my D line to put some pressure on the quarterback. I need my linebackers to stuff the run. Need those things to happen in order to play. And you learn that you can be a superstar by yourself, or you can be part of a team. And it's a really wonderful concept, and it's completely merit-based. Nobody cares what color, creed, or religion you are, or even your sexual preference. It doesn't matter. Can you do the job? And that's what I love about it, because that's the way I've lived my life. If you're good at something, let's go.
I agree. Meritocracy. And then, DEI is one of the other things they're trying to sell us on. And I didn't go along with any of it because it never made sense to me, and I wasn't going to go along with stuff that didn't make sense to me. Now, there is a business side, and I guess you have to consider that, or some people have to consider it, but
Sure.
I never really considered it.
It's that wonderful naivete again.
Well, it's naivete meets can't say stuff that I don't think is true.
Which I agree with 100%.
Right. So then, as the world and the business and the town was sort of turning, I was kind of getting off the merry-go-round, saying I'm not going along with this. And then everyone would tell me you should go along with it so that you can get along. And I was told everyone, but I never finished the rest of the sentence. I would tell people, listen, I have a skill. I'm a carpenter. So I didn't get into comedy to figure out what other people wanted me to say. I'm just going to say what I want to say. And if it doesn't work, I'll put the bags back on and go to carpentry. Except for the part of the story I always left out is I think the most I could make as a carpenter, probably about $50,000 a year. And that's not going to cover the nut.
Not going to do it. So you got to do that other thing.
Not going to do it. But so now maybe I do have to watch what I say. But I never really did. And I know you didn't either. And now I think with Sydney Sweeney and Trump and the whole 9 yards and Bud Light and Jaguar and all the COVID, first off, everything, it doesn't help their case that every single thing they said was a lie.
Yeah,
whether it was Hunter Biden's laptop, whether it's Russian collusion or Steele dossier, all things COVID, you could break down masks, social distancing, ivermectin, origin story of COVID. It didn't help that every single thing they pitched was a fucking lie
100%.
For the last 8 years. That does not help their cause.
No.
But it does put us back now on the side of
Common sense, really. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney. Right.
I'm on her side. I'm 100% on her side.
Well, I just mean we're now wearing jeans and drinking a Bud Light and instead of a smoothie driving a Jag. Right?
Yes.
So something came around, which is good. Now, for me, I never was on a side. I was only on the side of what makes sense and what's truthful and what's pragmatic.
Same deal. 100%. I never, you see those memes. There's the one meme where everybody's standing around somebody and they're like, and it's one person alone and they have a sign that says, yes, I think you're all wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that person. I can't, as a father and as a citizen of this country, got to the point where I can't stay silent. And believe me, I was told to stay silent. And don't say this and don't do that and don't become a law enforcement officer. And I absolutely refused to bend the knee in that sense.
So how do you get from Malibu to Princeton?
Football, baby. It helped. You know what? I had a real romanticized idea of what I thought college would be. Mm-hmm. Growing up in Malibu, it's very unique. We'd go down to the beach every day, and we'd walk down there. We'd be out, of course, until dark. We had to be back when the 2 street lights came on because that's all we had. And we were running around like crazy people. And nobody that I knew had even thought about going to an Ivy League school in Malibu. I grew up with, all those same kids, Chris Penn, Sean Penn, Rob Lowe, Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, all these guys.
Right.
In fact, my dad directed them in Young Guns, and it was wonderful. But none of those guys went to college. And I had this desire, even in high school, that I wanted to go play college football and get a great education. And I had this romantic idea of what I thought college would look like. And when I got to Princeton on my recruiting trips, I looked at Yale, I looked at Harvard, I looked at Berkeley, I looked at Stanford, and truthfully, I was going to probably stay on the West Coast, but I went to Princeton, and it felt so right. Mm-hmm. Big decision to leave Malibu, California. I'd never been to New Jersey before, and once I got there, though, and it was a dreary day in May, and it was raining, and they were like, "This kid's never coming here," but I loved it, and I just loved the idea of going to this prestigious university, and it was a great choice.
You went to Malibu High?
It didn't exist back then. We had Santa Monica High School.
Oh, okay. And you had good grades, obviously, and SATs and all that stuff. I mean,
they were, my grades and my SATs were good.
Good.
But I was a top recruit football-wise, and that helps.
Yeah. So Santa Monica, has football program? I don't know.
We were good.
You were good.
We won CIF.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we won CIF, and we went to the next year we went to CIF championship.
Oh,
we
so
beat
you guys
Long
were
Beach
good.
Poly. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
we were
Long Beach, the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's a good team.
Yeah, so we beat them in Anaheim Stadium. We lost the following year to West Torrance, who won it, and then my senior year we got knocked out by a team that took second in Seattle.
All right, so you guys were good.
Yeah, very
good. You're playing both ways.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was a wide receiver and a free safety.
So you had good speed.
Yep.
And good size, and you get recruited by whom?
All kinds of West Coast schools, Oregon schools, Utah schools, Pac-10 schools, not much from USC or UCLA, but all the other schools, and then other smaller schools, Weber State, University of Hawaii, places like that. And I chose to take I really wanted that top level education, so I chose to visit Princeton and Yale and Berkeley and these places.
Yeah, when that meant something.
When it meant something, exactly. And I was very naive then because I had never been out of my Malibu bubble. I didn't get it. But I chose Princeton, which was the wisest choice I could have made to leave.
So is it a full scholarship to Princeton?
No. I had to pay my own way. That's the pride of the Ivy League.
They don't have that.
Yeah, since 1953. So if anybody tells you that their kid got a athletic scholarship to one of the Ivy League schools, they are not telling you the truth.
Oh, really?
Oh, you can't get an athletic scholarship. It's just not. It's the pride of the Ivy League. So you got to be a true student athlete. So I turned them all down. My dad said, you know what, if this is where you want to go to school, because I had scholarship offers up the yin yang, and I was like, I was going to take him because you have a big ego as a college kid. You want to be wanted. People are coming at you, throwing at you. No NIL thing back then, but you're getting full rides and you're getting preferential treatment in classes first, and you get treated well.
Right.
And instead, my dad had to pay for it. And my dad, in fact, my senior year moved to Princeton. My entire family moved to Princeton to watch my senior year football season all the way through, and I was an All-American. I broke NCAA records. My dad
for
was
interceptions.
For interceptions, yes. And my dad was traveling to his pre-production meetings for Young Guns. He sold his car to keep me in school.
This is your stepdad, right?
Yeah, but he's my dad. I'd have two memories without him, and he raised me, and he's the biggest influence in my life, Christopher Kane.
What happened to biological dad?
He was a philanderer, and mom took off before I was born.
Philanderer are so close to philanthropist. You know what I mean? It's so
close, but so different.
So far. It's like casualty of war. It sounds good, but it's just not. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not a very good husband or father. And so my mom left before I was born. He was in the Army. She was down in Georgia, and she went and go back with her folks who were stationed up in Michigan. And I was born in Michigan 2 days after getting there. And then my mom moved to L.A. That wonderful story. I'm going to go be a star with two little Japanese-looking kids because I'm quarter Japanese, and our given name was Tanaka. And then my mom met my dad. They fell in love, and he adopted us. And which is funny because anytime I make a bad decision now, or he thinks it's a bad decision, he's like, that's not a great decision, son. I'm like, Dad, you married mom with no money, two little Japanese kids, and no job.
Right.
I can't do worse than that. But it worked out wonderfully.
Brunt workwear. Yeah, the stuff's good. I'm holding it right now. Beautiful, beautiful boots. But they do more than boots. The stuff's comfortable. It's like, I don't want to call it pre-broken in, but it's good to go from day one. You just have to break boots in, saddle soap and whatnot. Not only are these boots incredibly comfortable, but they deliver the protection and durability you need on the job site. Omen is the name of the boot that I'm holding up here. Wear them all the time. Lightweight, water resistant, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, electrical hazard rated as well. These Brunt boots were comfortable right out of the box. Like I said, other guys, you got to wear them, you got to break them in, you get the blisters. Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high performance gear built for tough jobs. It's Brunt. Check it out. Right, Dawson?
Bring home the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their spring savings event. And for an extra $30 off, use promo code Adam at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra 30% off with promo code Adam at checkout. See site for details.
Chime. Yeah. How about your long-term finances, huh? Given that any thought? Now, through Chime. You can be smarter about how you manage your credit scores. Because that's really what you need. Because it saves you so much money when you buy a house, a car, anything on credit. You get a better credit score, you get a better rate. Build credit history with everyday purchases and regular on-time payments. Plus, get access to credit tracking tools and personalized tips for a stress-free credit experience. All without credit checks, minimum deposits, annual fees, or interest. Yeah, I wish Chime was around when I was young. I could have really benefited from all the great perks of Chime. With Chime, there are no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance requirements. It's Chime, right, Dawson?
Make everyday purchases count with Chime Secured Credit Builder Visa Credit Card. Get started today at chime.com/Adam. Chime feels like progress.
You ever meet your biological dad?
No, he passed away, I think, 15-something years ago.
Did he ever know your success?
Yes. So it's one of those weird things, and I know you're very familiar with it, but suddenly when I got Superman, there were 3 shows on the network, and there were 3 network stations, ABC, CBS, and NBC. So everything was out there. Huge press thing that went on. And then I get a call one day, and the National Enquirer has found him, and he's doing an interview on Inside Edition or something like that. So the first time I ever saw him or heard from him or anything was watching that show and seeing his other kids, now they were probably 5 and 6 years old, running around with capes on, and he's talking about me. And I've never seen the man or heard his voice. And he's going, I don't want to be Dean's dad. I was just like, what? This is the weirdest, strangest thing. But I never spoke to him ever. Because he lied when he did that. He said he was in Vietnam, and he just continued that same path that my mom had described beforehand. He lied about her. He said that she left him while he was in Vietnam. He never served in Vietnam. One of my half brothers, who's about 4 months younger than me, so there was a little crossover there. He sort of dropped dime on him to me too, and it just wasn't a good example of a father or a husband or anything like that. But my stepfather who stepped in, Chris Kane, he's my example of a man. South Dakota, he grew up on a farm. He was a bull rider. He's got those small town American values, and he passed those on to me.
Wow. What a blessing.
Oh, my gosh.
To replace that guy with this guy.
It was a great upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got very, very lucky.
Philanderer to philanthropist. Wow. That's good.
It's very good.
Also, I'm curious of what your take is on this, because I think I'm a little more like you in that, I've interviewed a lot of people, and there's like 2 schools of thought. There's like, hey, the first one I don't subscribe to. That's your dad. That's always going to be your dad. I don't care if what he's done. That's your blood. That's your blood. Blood's thicker than water. I don't even know I don't really know why people say blood is thicker than water.
Like thicker is good thing.
So it's molasses. But what does that mean? Oh, well, he's your blood. I know, but who's the water? Your stepdad's the water? Or who's the water
in this scenario?
Dude, blood is thicker than water. Yeah, no shit. So's 30 weight oil. So's transmission fluid. So is honey. Shall I keep going?
Yes.
Lots of stuff's thicker than water. Paint. Easy living Sears paint is thicker than water.
And will last longer on the wall.
But who's water?
Not
Who is the water? You're saying, is my stepdad's water? Or what is he?
Which is a valuable thing for life, is water, which is great.
But I don't know in this.
It's a stupid saying.
Yeah. The only other one I don't like either is shit rolls downhill. Like, has anyone been camping?
It really doesn't.
It really
doesn't. I've tried it.
That shit all the way down the hill. It does not go on its own.
It does not. It needs a little inertia.
Twigs, leaves. It does not roll on its own.
Yeah, that's not a great saying, but it's true. I never knew the man, so I didn't care. I had 2 memories without him, and my dad, when I met my dad, it's like no pressure. He just meets my mom, and she's like, come back to the place, whatever. And she's these 2 kids, and I was like, Dad, like off the jump.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is back to the pragmatism. And I've talked to a lot of people. Like I said, I interviewed Joe Rogan here, and he didn't know his biological dad or whatever.
I didn't know that.
And I would say, You want to meet him? He's like, no. Look, but do you ever feel like compelled? And he's like, no, guy's a douche, doesn't deserve it, and I don't know him, so fuck that. And I'm like, I'm with you, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the exact same way. If this person, yes, there is biology, there is blood, but if there's nothing else, then he's a ancestor almost. You have blood with them, but you don't need to meet them. They've been dead for 200 years.
Or a sperm donor.
Whatever it is. Yeah, and all the effort should go into the person that showed up and did the work.
Which was my dad, Christopher Kane.
Your stepdad moved to New Jersey to watch you play free safety your senior year.
And took a bus to his pre-production meetings and things for Young Guns that he was producing and directing because he sold his car to keep me in Princeton my senior year and wouldn't tell anybody. Didn't even tell me. I didn't know until afterward.
Did he go to the away games?
They went to so he would go back during the week to do his prep stuff here, and then go to Princeton for the weekend to watch the games or every away game. I would pull into. We went and played Davidson down in North Carolina. We're there 3 hours before the game. It's Ivy League. We get 10, 15,000 people on a good game, and there was one car in the parking lot. I'm sitting there with my Walkman or whatever I had at the time, listening to music, getting pumped for the game, and somebody taps me and points out that the one car in the parking lot, it was my folks.
Wow.
Greatest in the world. They went to every single game my senior year. That's the kind of family that I grew up with, and that's why I think that's a huge reason, obviously, why I have the values and the morals and the things that I find important is passed on from family. And they'll do anything. Family, it's faith, family, country, so that's the way my family works. And
what's as weird as I didn't have any of that. I had a derelict family, but my dad wasn't a philanthropist or a
philanderer.
A philanderer. He was just, but I arrived at those same thoughts as you had. But I would tell people, people go, everyone wants to talk about hacks and cold plunges and life hacks and saunas and shaker weights and stuff. I go, just diet and exercise. Just diet and exercise. And they go, whoa. Some people have a metabolism. I gotta just go diet and exercise. You know what the fuck to eat. You know what not to eat. And you know to break a sweat. And that's about it. So you want to get another book. You want to hire a personal fitness trainer. You want to have Dr. Fauci go on there and talk about electrolytes. I don't know what you want. Just diet and exercise. It's easy. It's family. It's religion. I'm not religious, but it's family. It's family and education. Family and education. Family and education. I've been telling everyone this my entire time I had a microphone in front of my face, and they argue and they argue and they argue. That's what the left does, because once there's family and education, we no longer need them.
Of course. Not at all. And that's what that whole Marxist push is, to get rid of everybody's family, let the government raise your kids, let your government indoctrinate kids, change history, all that madness. So that's why I'm vehemently against it. And that's why I constantly get called a Nazi for standing up for American values. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, you're super Nazi.
Yeah, exactly. I get that every single day.
Yeah, everyone calls me an asshole too. But I don't even know. Somebody showed me a clip of the Young Turks trying to attack me from 10 years ago. And I was like, it's 10 years on, and I still don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I said, feed your kids breakfast. I don't care about the money. I want your kids to learn to have you feed them, not rely on the government
100%
to feed them. That's all.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. It was a big issue with the Young Turks. You know what I mean?
Well, let's be honest. Cenk probably wanted to keep some of that food for himself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good point.
But I'm bump.
So I was like, I've gone on that. I've gone on HuffPo, and I was like, diet and exercise. Basically, I say diet and exercise. What I'm saying is family and education. Family and education. They're like, what about the school to prison pipeline? I'm like,
it doesn't exist.
Is there a real pipeline? Because if it's just a mythical pipeline, then family and education would keep you out of prison.
Yes.
And so I was always like, first off, I don't even know what we're arguing about. I'm saying diet and exercise. You're walking into my office saying you're a nutritionist, and I'm going, you're fat. So here's what we need to do. You need to put down that hoagie, and pick up an apple or a piece of jicama or fruit or something, and then instead of Ubering home, why don't you walk home?
Hey, what a concept.
Right, what a concept. And then come back in 6 months.
And let's see where we are.
I bet you'd be down 30 pounds.
Exactly. And all your other numbers will be getting closer to right. It's common sense.
And so, but by the way, why are you angry at me? First off, I don't really care if you're fat or not. I'm just telling you how this is what works. I'm not involved with the school to prison pipeline. My kids aren't involved with the school to prison pipeline. I don't have to worry about the school to prison pipeline. I may get stabbed by someone who didn't make it fully into the pipeline and somehow got stuck on the grate on the outside and didn't get sucked in and make it to prison. Yeah, but my kids may be stabbed by one of them. That is a factor. But bottom line, I'm trying to help people not get into the pipeline.
Which is to get rid of that school to prison pipeline thing that doesn't really exist.
Right.
It goes back to the same thing. Diet, exercise. Eating calories in, calories out. You burn more than you take in, you're going to lose weight.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. You take care of family and education, you're not going to have that school to prison pipeline. It's just common sense that somehow has gotten just muddied up because it appeals to people's, base sense of being lazy.
I don't know if it's just that sort of nihilism where they just want everything gone or whatever was.
I think they just want power for themselves.
There is a clip, Andrew. You don't have to find the Young Turks. It's comical. It's weird. They take a clip of me just saying, "Feed your own kids," and I don't care about the money. I care about the message, and then do 10 minutes on Adam's too cheap to feed kids, which is like I say in the body of the piece, I don't care about the money. I care about the message.
Well, that's too simple. We'll just quote you out of context and make up our own story.
Also, so here's I guess what I'm saying is here's the synopsis. The synopsis is Adam Carolla and Dean Cain hate kids, hate women, hate democracy, and love authoritarian dictatorship to live under their rule.
Yep, that's the headline.
Basic. Oh, and blacks and gays.
Of course.
We hate them all.
And that's the headline. Nobody bothers to read the story, by the way.
That's beneficial to me. How? Like, you know what I mean? Living in Los Angeles, scared of people look different than me. In Los Angeles, how would one navigate?
Couldn't.
Living in Los Angeles, scared of those who look different than them.
Impossible, because you have a huge melting pot of every color, creed, religion. Everything is here. Always has been.
Right.
At least certainly for my lifetime and your lifetime, since we are very close in age. There's no question about it. It's crazy. But people love to, otherize and villainize people right now, especially from the left, on people's opinions they don't agree with.
Pragmatically, just for me to be a racist, how would that benefit me? Like, I'm talking to Netflix about doing a show and A&E about doing a show. Now, me being overtly racist, how would it help my relationship with Netflix and A&E?
Not going to help it.
In terms of getting on the air.
Of course. It makes no sense.
Even if I am racist, what's in it for me to be overt about it?
Nothing. It makes zero sense whatsoever. But they'll say you're saying it just to be relevant. You're saying it to be contriversial and relevant. And you're like, no, this is just opinion.
It's a dog whistle.
Oh yeah, dog whistle.
It's all my all my fans are racist.
Of course. Now it's everybody.
Now it's everybody.
You're speaking in code. But you know who can decode that? Tim Waltz. He can speak. He can decode for white dudes or whatever the hell he said.
Homes.com. Well, some might say Homes.com is the best shopping site for homes. Maybe because their super comprehensive, transparent agent directory. Or maybe it's that Homes.com is the only site that always directly connects you with the listing agent who knows the home the best. Perhaps it's because Homes.com has the most in-depth neighborhood content of any home shopping site that's extensively researched to highlight the personality of each neighborhood. Or maybe it's all the above. That's what I think it is. Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth info they need to find the right home. Homes.com. That's Homes.com. We've done your homework.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
I love this new world order of bizarre, weirdo, super progressive left-wingers trying to sort of fit in with the aw shucks regular guy. Like, I love when he's like, oh, hey, you caught me. I was gapping the plugs in my international harvester. After that, I'm going to clean my shotgun,
which I don't know how to fire.
Then I'm going to have a couple Pabst Tall Boys and watch a Ted Nugent concert from '79. Oh yeah, Motor City Man. Anyway, I'm just gapping these plugs. Let me get this feeler gauge, which I'm holding the wrong end of. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk. You know, it's like, what? Someone snuck up on you with a camera while you're gapping the plugs on your international harvester? I got cars. I work on my cars all the fucking time.
They're over. I saw a bunch of them over here too.
No one has ever snuck up on me.
No.
Like, I've never been. I got a BRE 510 getting prepped. I'm racing Laguna Seca in a week, but I'm under the hood. But no one's turned the corner with a fucking camera and had me go, oh, I was just jetting the carbs on my 510. What's, hey, let's talk.
It's horrible social media. Just like Eric Swalwell walking around. Hey, Congressman. Yeah, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of blah, blah, blah? And let's cuss a little bit. Oh, I think, David, it's insane. It's inauthentic. And that's the whole point.
I'm just sitting at my desk eating a taco.
Oh, God.
Spelled Taco, which is also an acronym we invented 10 minutes ago.
God.
Trump always chickens out.
Yeah, that didn't stick. That's about as good as fetch from whatever that Mean Girls. You know, fetch ain't gonna happen.
We're also working on an acronym that's insulting to Trump that fits into the word burrito and tostada, but we haven't really worked that one out yet. We're also looking for churro.
Churro's a tough one.
Unfortunately, Clinton starts with a C, so that may be problematic. But for right now, we have taco.
Taco's good.
And this is good. And I'm just eating this taco when this guy walked into my office with a camera. Later on, I'm going to gap some spark plugs in my international harvester. Eating another taco.
And then out bench press Greg Gutfeld.
That's right. But then what happened with Trump always chickens out? That was 10 minutes ago.
Gone.
But what happened? I thought he was a chicken. I thought you guys knew something.
But he made a deal, and the tariffs worked, and
a bunker buster was launched.
Yeah, and that changes things. Well, President Trump is working at such a clip that these news cycles that they would normally just harp on for, a month at a time, they can get a week out of, and then he's on to something else. And it's so fast that the mainstream media can't keep up. I love it.
Yeah,
I tune in every day going like, what happened today?
Right.
And they're trolling people. Their White House things, their social media people are, you see the one with he's on the roof and he's like, have you seen the Sydney Sweeney ad? He's yelling down to the group. I mean, it's funny stuff. It's funny. And that's one of the things I love to see from you on X is you'll just quote something and just write funny. Right. Because it's funny.
It's funny.
You don't put any judgment behind it, but it's funny. And it is funny. That was funny. I laughed my tail off.
But I do think there's a lot of trolling. I think he'll go, I'm going to move Guantanamo Bay to Ellis Island. And everyone goes, what?
Yes.
What? Yeah, we're going to do Abu Ghraib on Ellis Island.
Abu Ghraib.
Okay. No! I think he's fucking with everybody.
Of course he is. But then, meanwhile, he's making a trade deal with China.
So, the recent news, I want to get your take on it, because it kind of dovetails into this with the whole Howard Stern thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, I used to do Stern many, many times.
I did
many times.
Several times.
And I bet you did it many times.
Yep.
Now, I did it many times, probably more than others, because I would be asked to sit in all the time, which is not necessarily being a guest, but literally sitting in for the 4+ hours, which was, I guess, I don't know. You can find out when Jackie left, but when Jackie left, I would was offered the Jackie chair.
Well, because you and Jackie are very similar.
We could
be siblings.
So I used to do it from L.A. With a Zephyr, like a Zephyr's like a suitcase. Like, it was a crazy. I mean, you have to picture this. So Jackie left in 2001. So I met Howard. I always wanted to do the Howard Stern show, and Jimmy always wanted to do the Howard Stern show, but Howard would go to bed at 8 at night, and our
East
shows,
Coast time.
My whole thing was late night stuff and nighttime stuff. So he didn't really know who we were, but eventually somebody told him, you got to book these guys. They're on a popular show. They're funny. You'd like these guys. So we went we were in New York, and we did the show. And Howard really, the thing that's funny about Howard is he knows comic books and stuff like that, COVID protocol. He's an expert in lots of things. You ask him one question about football or one question about late night, something that's out of his purview, he doesn't know what you're talking about.
At all.
So he really had no idea who Jimmy and I were, but we sat in for a show, and we had a good time, and at the end of the show, later on that afternoon, Howard called me. He got my phone number, and he just called me, and he just went, I don't know who you are, but I've never met anyone like you. I want you to be part of this show because I'm looking to replace
who you are.
Well, he was like, I really wasn't a fan. I didn't really know your work. You know, he was blown away. And I just sound like a douche, but he called me, and that's what he said.
Pretty awesome.
And he was like, I want you to be part of the show. I don't know where you come from. I really don't know your stuff. And it was clear because I said, no, I can't move to New York. I have a family. I have 3 TV shows and a radio show. I live in L.A. I have a house. He was so, I never heard of you. No one else ever heard of you, but you got a gift. So come on down. And there's the Jackie seat. And I'm like, no, I have a job, 5 jobs, and I can't do it.
Give me the Zephyr.
Give me the Zephyr. So we used to do, he'd say, can you sit in? Can you sit in? And the problem was I would finish Loveline at midnight.
I did Loveline with you guys.
Yeah.
Back in the early 1800s.
Finish at midnight, and his show would start at 3 a.m. New York time.
Oof.
I mean, L.A. time.
Right.
And so I would go, all right.
Stay up?
No, I would drive from Westwood 1 in Culver City, about a half hour, 35 minutes, back to Beechwood Canyon.
Oof.
I would walk in my front door about 12:30, 12:35. I would sit there. I couldn't go to bed.
Nope.
I'd drink a glass of wine and watch SportsCenter.
Which is nice.
Then at 1:15 or 1:30, I would go to bed.
Oh, gosh.
For about 50 minutes.
Oh.
I would get up. I would drive back to Culver City.
Oh.
It'd be pitch black.
That's painful.
And I'd walk in there in about 45 to 50. I mean, the most I could sleep was an hour because mathematically it wouldn't work.
Be all screwed up.
And I would walk in there and I would sit in for 5 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
And at some point, I'd start hallucinating because I wouldn't even know where I was. And I'd be sitting there like in this studio that was empty. And like every once in a while, I'd hear like 4 hours in, you'd hear Howard's voice go, Adam, what do you think? And I'd be like, I'm having a dream. I'm on a construction site. I'm driving my truck. I'm listening to Stern on the radio, and he's talking to me. I was like hallucinate.
Of course.
And then I would leave it. We'd be done at 8 in the morning. Oof. And then I would just sit in traffic from Culver City back to Beechwood Canyon, literally hallucinating. Like I don't. Everyone else is honking and up and stuff, and it's light now.
Ouch.
And I did that all the time. Oh. And then eventually I said, I got to do it from my house.
Yes, Zephyr.
They got me a Zephyr, which is suitcase, and you plug it into the phone line. And
wow,
I just sat in my office. And
perfect, though. It saved you some time.
I had no acoustics.
Oh, God.
And it was an old house with hardwood floors and stuff. I sat under a ceiling fan. I draped thick sheets over the ceiling fan. I pinned them to the ceiling fan and draped them out. like a canopy, and I would go into it like a tent.
Little teepee.
And made a little tent. Yeah, I made a little sheet teepee, and that would pick it up.
Wow. You and Elizabeth Warren make that teepee.
That's right.
Was she in there with you? No, she wasn't.
Oh.
Okay. She could have taught you how to build one, from scratch.
Oh, my God. Lean-tos, teepees, wigwams. I mean, she does them all, man.
Well, she's
but she wants a lot of wampum these days.
She wants much wampum.
Much wampum.
Well, see, that is a grueling schedule. I can't. And I wouldn't move to New York either. So bless you for doing that. But man, that's exhausting.
Yeah, I did it, and then I would talk to him off the air, and when I went out, I'd go out to New York. We go out to dinner. But the thing about going out to dinner with Howard is you ate at 5 p.m.
Wow.
5 p.m. Like New York is 9 and martinis. You know what I mean? But this was 5 p.m. and I'd do it. I'd go to his condo in Manhattan and meet him and go to the place across the street, a nice restaurant, everything, sit there and have dinner. But it was dinner at 5,
lunch, dinner, whatever.
So people say, like, well, what happened to Howard Stern? Like, what is he? And I explain all the time, because everyone thought, well, he was this rock and roll, womanizing, hard living, hard loving dude. That's never who he was. He went to bed at 8 every single night. Wow. Every night. How can you be a rock and roll hard? What time do you think the clubs close? 7:30 at night? Like but every single time. I mean, this is 20 years ago. I'd go 5 o'clock dinner. I'd go, I gotta go to bed at 8. Go to bed at 8.
That's pretty straight-laced.
He was a business guy who was a radio guy. The rock and roll bad boy, that's all facade. He was married. He had kids. He's a family guy. He's a kind of conservative Jewish guy who's a worker. You know what I mean? He's a businessman. That was part of the facade, but that's not who he is.
Yeah.
So then later on, it's like, what happened to the old Howard Stern? Well, this is the old Howard Stern, the COVID warrior who's worried about germs and worried to leave the house and catch COVID and stuff. That is who that guy is. That's who he was.
But he's behind the facade, of course. I always felt like it was kind of like Sean Penn, always wanting to be a contrarian. Mm-hmm. Like he would just say something to get you to respond, or say some outlandish
thing. Like an agitator.
Yeah, an agitator. Great word.
Right.
Yeah, but then it became, well, I guess you're on long enough, your true opinions come out, and he has certainly shifted. You see it all over. People are yelling about, how he got canceled or how it's over now, and he used to be so edgy. And, I'm no expert on Howard. I was on the show a couple of times, and I enjoyed it. But I also knew that when he would ask something that I didn't want to answer, which was, a lot of sex questions and who'd you date and blah, 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 I would just go quiet and kind of go, well, because he'd keep it going. So we just kind of moved past it, which was good, because I didn't want to answer a couple of those questions.
I get it.
But I enjoyed doing the show then, and I just stopped listening, to be honest. The last few years, I haven't heard much of it.
Yeah, well, he's a businessman, and that's more who he is. He's a radio guy who's a business guy. He's not.
He did some good business.
Rock and roll bad boy. Yeah, and I liked him, and I agree that a certain point somewhere around Obama, certainly with Trump, and my thing was, I could have still come on the show even if we disagreed, but that's not how that side of the aisle rolls.
No.
There is no mas in the coming on. And it's that way with everything, with films,
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Could
Film,
you imagine
television.
getting a film into Sundance?
Oh, now? No way.
No way.
Not
in a million years.
I would have to recredit myself, AI change my face.
It's funny. I came across a mug that somebody. So years ago. First off, I knew everything before anyone else knew anything. I knew this was all going this way, and I knew I make documentaries and movies sometimes, but there's going to be no sun. I could make a movie called Harriet Tubman's Revenge, where she came back as a superhero and killed all the white people, and they wouldn't let it in.
Not if it had your name on it.
Not if it had my name on it. But 10 years ago, I knew this was coming, and I said, I was sitting around with my wife and her girlfriend, and I said, if I want to get into Sundance, I can't have my name because that's a man show douchebag. I said, I got to come up with a name. I said, I'll just invent a new name. And
yes.
I said, Jules Dash. And my wife's friend said, Jules Dash? Who knows? I don't even know if that's a man or a woman.
Exactly. Exactly.
Jules Dash, a lot of scarves, tinted prescription glasses.
Absolutely.
Perfect, right?
Dead on.
Johnny Depp-esque, lots of jewelry.
Perfect.
And a Jules Dash.
And you'll get in a heartbeat and get nominated and possibly win Sundance.
Well, Jules Dash wouldn't get me in, but it would
stop you.
It would make it based on the merit of the work, and the work is good, so then I would get in.
Exactly.
All right, Dean, hang with us. We're going to do some news. Is
yes,
that
sir.
okay?
News is good. I'd like to hear what's going on.
Alicia Krause is going to come in. We'll do that right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. Want to keep your car on the road? Well, that's their business, O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service, parts, and the knowledge you need to maintain and do repairs. In the last 2 weeks, I got a battery jumper box from O'Reilly. I got the sawdust you throw down to sop up all the hydraulic fluid. Had a hose bust on a hoist. Now I got the water wetter, getting ready for the race car. Got to put it in the radiator. So, whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, they are friendly. So, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do it today, or you can visit us online at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Select quote. Well, if you're like me, you wish you'd grab some of that Bitcoin when they're selling it for a nickel. Yeah, not paid for 4 years of finding yourself. I'd say that'd be college. I didn't go to college, let's be honest. But you did. Should have grabbed that bit. We don't have to let FOMO mean missing out on real protection. That's where Select Quote comes in. Life insurance. It's like a parachute. If you need it and don't have it, there's no second chances. Or think of it as a bodyguard for your bank account after you're gone. This is something you want to get right and fast, and won't be cheaper tomorrow. You could get coverage the same day, up to $2 million, sometimes with no medical exam. Bottom line, Select Quote makes life insurance simple, even if you've never thought about it before. It's Select Quote. Right, Dawson?
Life insurance is never cheaper than it is today. Get the right life insurance for you for less and save more than 50% at selectquote.com/Carolla. Save more than 50% on term life insurance at selectquote.com/Carolla today to get started. That's selectquote.com/Carolla. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Tim from Poplar Grove Airport here. I saw the Sydney Sweeney ad on Daily Wire, and I am outraged for one reason that nobody has mentioned, and I think you're going to agree with me on this. The part where she peels away in the Mustang was obviously edited, and the editors put smoke coming off the front tire of a Shelby Mustang from 1965. Completely unacceptable.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
It irked me as well. I bit my tongue, but yes, all that stuff bothers me. I don't like.
Get some better editors in there.
The problem with the editors, there's no car guy editors, you know what I mean? So they just smoked up the front wheels.
The things that AI cannot fix.
Yeah, it's a rear wheel drive car, so Anyway, 65 Mustang, good car.
I love that's what you took it. I love that the caller took that out. That's their exception.
I'm bad. Look, in War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise had a fastback Mustang as well, and he was rebuilding the engine in his kitchen, and he's like, I got a new 302, and I was like, it's a 289. the 302 is for the boss. You have the model before that. You should be rebuilding a 289.
So what we're realizing is that you need to have some contract with studios or production companies that come to you to run all the car stuff by you.
Absolutely.
Before they put anything out in the public.
They can run the car stuff by me, but they can run the Dean Cain stuff, football stuff could be run by Dean because
technical advisor.
In Ghost Rider, Nick Cage was going to jump 300 feet field goal to field goal.
Well, that would be close to 300 feet, except for the end zones, which makes it a little bit longer.
360.
Yes, sir.
So it's not 300.
It's not 300.
And it's not field goal to field goal. I would say goalpost to goalpost.
It's goalpost to goalpost.
Right. So you could have straightened them out.
In a heartbeat.
That's
in a
what
heartbeat.
I'm
But they
saying.
wouldn't listen to me.
Well, I told them, listen, you go to Dean for football.
Go to you for cars.
For cars, but they wouldn't listen.
They don't listen.
All right, sorry.
And what do we go to me for?
It's just a laugh. A good time. A good time.
To point and laugh?
No, not pointing. Just a good time. Just a good time.
Well, this is a crazy story. This couple decided, of course they're in tech, and of course it's their second wedding. Sorry to be judgmental, but they decided to sell tickets to their destination wedding. Mm-hmm. They said that it is really cost prohibitive, and they were baffled by the overpriced traditional wedding planning model that often breaks the bank due to quote unquote outrageous costs associated to the smallest things. Mm-hmm. So they decided to sell tickets to their wedding. A basic ticket was valued at $57 per person, and it covered admission to the wedding ceremony and the reception, which I don't know if that was an open bar, not bad. $57, right? But for those who wanted to make it a full weekend event, they had to purchase the second option that was valued at around $1,000 for 2 tickets, which included access to the rehearsal dinner, their biohacking brunch and recovery lounge, and so much more.
IVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the IVs and they had red light therapy and stuff like that.
So
hangover remedies.
We're basically now in the realm of we are used to paying for everything because you're not old enough, Alicia Krause, but the notion of paying for water to drink is insanity.
Turn the hose on. I drank out of the hose for
that's all I did.
15 years.
Hose, drinking fountains. Even at school, people shove gum into the drinking fountain.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you get it through there. It just makes it shoot out over your angle.
Rooster tail right in your face. But so, all right, so then pay. And then, all right, so if you said to, my dad when I was a kid, now listen, Jim Carolla, I need you to pay for water. I need you to pay for TV. I need you to pay for something called Sirius Satellite XM radio. That's going to be a premium. You want the Stern package? That's going to cost a little bit more. Not for long, but it's going to cost a little bit more. My dad would have won. And you got to pay for education and braces. He would have won what the? No.
Yep.
No.
What about parking? Parking is the thing that irks me the most.
Yeah, there didn't used to be any sort of parking for anything.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. City parking, street parking. You have to go swipe your. By the way, for me, it's not the money. I told you I went to the Michael Madsen wake last Friday, and the theater has a lot behind it, and I pulled in and it was this is pay parking. There's no attendant. Use your phone and hit the computer thing on the thing, and then that'll download. And I'm like, I'm going to fuck this up in ways. My car's going to be on a tow truck when I come back out of this. I don't know how to do this. I'll happily give you $5, but I don't know.
But there's no person there to take the $5.
There's nobody there. I just got back in the car, backed out, and I drove a half mile away and just parked on the street somewhere.
Safe.
Yeah, because at least I know.
You didn't have to buy a ticket to the wake, though, right? Like the wedding?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just saying.
Would you do that?
There was an upgrade for the open casket, though. It was an upgrade. And I paid. It was a premium. But they called it a premium.
It's worth it.
I could honestly see. So their thing is people are starting their marriage and their life together, with so much debt.
Yes.
And I'm well, then don't budget. I feel like this is
I don't
budget.
think. I think if you are a renter, we should limit your marriage, your wedding to like $7,500 or something like that. You have to have a cutoff. I don't want you spending $50,000 and renting an apartment. Like I want that money going to a down payment somewhere,
and
condo,
actually,
something.
I actually would be, when my husband and I got married, we registered for furniture, and we were like, we don't expect anybody to buy us the Crate and Barrel couch, but money towards the couch would be nice.
Hey.
And people did it.
Yeah.
And I feel like these people are like, do you not have friends that care about you? Because like part of a wedding registry
is to help you get started.
Is to help you get started.
Yeah,
and I'd
I
rather
agree.
give somebody money to go towards buying a house because that is their greatest future denominator
investment,
of not ever being in poverty ever for them and their children. Like, why don't we just tell people buy a house and not have like a $500,000 wedding?
I knew someone was getting married who like had a fixer-upper kind of starter house, and I said, well, instead of a crock pot and an air fryer and bedding, get a bid for your deck, $5,000. And have everyone go in on your deck, and then you get a deck
I love that
out
idea.
of this thing.
Or have them all come help make the deck, like the Amish. You got a lot of Amish friends, invite them over, or invite Adam over.
You see the movie Witness?
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of guys with Mennonite beards show up.
Hey, they'll pick up an entire house and move that sucker. You see what the Amish did during the North Carolina stuff? Those guys are unbelievable.
I mean, they used to do that in the olden days, though.
Yeah.
Like Little House on the Prairie time. It's like that couple's getting married. We're gonna go. Everybody's gonna go frame their house.
That makes sense.
I agree, but this is LA. Got a bunch of lame gay producers and stuff. They don't know shit. God, do they not know anything?
So we need Adam to be a consultant on car things and also be GC.
Yeah, my thing is you get all your Dumbo friends to contribute to the deck. I'll GC it. You know what I mean? I'll pull a owner operator permit. And then and by the way, I'm good for $85 an hour. So if I put in an afternoon, then we're square. I don't have to. That's my contribution to the deck right there. I'll run a crew, Guatemalans mainly, and we'll get your fucking deck knocked out. How about that? You won't have a crock pot, but you can buy that anytime you want for $40.
And forget the wedding.
Yeah, forget the wedding.
I think that this might be generational too, because I'm like one of the last millennials, and these kids, I'm calling them kids. They're like 34 and 35 years old.
Those are kids,
and I feel like that's like a cusp of like you guys should pay for the pleasure of being with me is very like 35 and under nowadays.
Yeah.
There's that one generation that between 35 and my son's 25. There's about a 10-year period of time where life's going to be tough for, I think, whatever generation that is called. That's because they're getting tougher now.
Yeah.
But there's a how you have classes like, at a football team, that class of 88, which I was. Don't even tell me you weren't born yet, because I know. But
I was 2.
Okay, thank you for that. That's great. You have great classes. Class of 88, we had a great strong class.
Right.
Class of 87, sorry guys, they just weren't that good. And you have different years that are great, and so maybe you get a good class. Maybe you don't.
Well, anyway, I don't know. First off, anyone can do whatever they want because there's no more rules and no more judgment. And I don't like that society, but that's where we're at. So I don't care, but I wouldn't do it that way. Shopify. Well, starting a business, it can be intimidating. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. Brands you're going to know soon. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond at Shopify. Right, Dawson?
Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
Speaking of money, my family this fiscal year has not spent $207,500. But apparently the state of Massachusetts did so by spending over $830 million so far this fiscal year, housing more than 4,000 families in an emergency shelter program. It's Democratic Governor Maura Healey there, and she's actually said that they're like ending this because they cannot, alas, they cannot afford it anymore.
Shocker.
Yeah, look, okay. People will survive. Like you'd be amazed what people will do. They don't need nearly what this notion of like you're going to let people die. It's like so the choice is always the government has to feed them, clothe them, and shelter them, or they die. Because I don't know how that mathematically pencils out on a national level. No, people should take care of themselves, and they should learn to, and they should have a family. And what it really is people need an infrastructure within their own family. You will never be homeless. My kids will never be homeless because their dad worked hard and generally kept his shit together, and there's always going to be a guest house for you to crash in if the wheels come off the wagon.
That's a wonderful safety net too.
Right.
I mean, it's a great thing for them and their psyche.
Right. So, and I grew up poor, and I had people you couch surf.
I was going to say you had a couch you knew you could sleep on.
People,
even if it was with a crazy
Elon Musk couch surfed. Everybody couch surfs at one
people
point in
put
time.
like an inflatable mattress down in the garage, and you just fucking put a lamp out there. Like there's ways to do it. I lived in the garage at my dad's house for a couple of years. Like it's what you do. You don't need the state to do it. But as soon as the state will do it, then people will use that.
But even if the state spent, say, $20,000 per family, I don't want families to be alone, especially if there's children, like on the street. Like that's horrible. But like you give them $20,000 to
they spent
$207,500 per family.
Right.
This fiscal year.
But let me explain something with the state. It's like the bathroom at the park in San Francisco is $1.7 million. Like, wait a minute, I could build a custom house in Malibu for $1.7 million. So it's literally one bathroom in the park. Yeah. Okay, so obviously there's a vig and a premium whenever the state and the city, whenever the government gets involved, you can go ahead and tack on about 2,000%. Yes.
Well, on top of like a quadrupled timeline.
Oh yeah. So
slower and more expensive.
Yeah, whatever,
and less good.
Whatever the private sector would cost to build the bullet train, go ahead and go up tenfold from that. But yeah, so you have many Americans, some in this building, that seem to manage on under $60,000 a year, and manage to eat sushi once in a while and go to a concert.
Wow!
And have a flat panel TV that streams networks on it. So why 200? Because the government's involved. That's 100%. Why it's that.
They are axing it. It was done back in the 80s, before I was born, in 1983.
There we go.
By Governor Michael Dukakis, and he signed what remains the nation's only statewide right to shelter law, which set in motion the conditions for this housing crisis, which Republicans in the state are saying it's not a housing crisis of Massachusetts. Is that
Massachusetts?
My grandmother was born there. I should know this. Massachusetts. It's actually because of the illegal immigrant crisis and how they are coming into the state, and then they're stuck in these hotels that the state has been paying for.
Yeah. Well, they're first off, you can't. Okay. Here's what I've said a million times. I've said it. I've always said it. It's like bears. What's the bear population do? And the bear population does whatever they can do. That's whatever we let them do.
Sure.
So if you work at Jellystone Park, you'll see signs that'll say, put the lid down on the trash can on the dumpster and put a lock on it, because if you leave it open, the bears will get into it. And if you're going on a hike, take your food and put it in your car and lock it or whatever. Now, are the bears good or are the bears bad?
They're bears.
They're bears. They just do
what bears do.
Well, they'll do what we let them do. It's basically how it works. So what do you want the bears to do? Well, I'd like them to go out and forage for themselves and live off the land and eat how their ancestors ate. Right. But now there's a family here with In-N-Out Burger. Right.
It smells real
we didn't
good.
really
That
factor
bear.
that in. We didn't
Smells
factor
good to me,
that
too.
in. We all just got a little boner.
It's like,
In-N-Out. So what's the bear do? Well, their ancestors didn't have to worry about the In-N-Out situation because In-N-Out wasn't invented. But now there's a bunch of fat kids in SUVs and there's a bunch of picnic baskets. And we got In-N-Out. Okay, so now what do we want the bears to do? Well, we don't want them to come around and tear it up and get fat and get diabetes eating In-N-Out burger. Right. Okay, so how should we do this? Well, let's just leave the In-N-Out on the table. We'll be on the honor system. We'll explain to the bears it's not the right thing to do. Okay, I don't think that's going to work.
Not going to work.
Well, give it a shot. And then you go walk away and they tear the fucking table apart. Okay, not going to work. Why? Well, it's not because the bears are bad. It's just because the bears will do what they can do. And they smell the In-N-Out. People are exactly the same. They will do what we let them do. If you want them to work, then don't give them free shit and they will work. If you'd like them to find shelter, they will work. They will get roommates. They will find shelters. They will use futons. They will figure it out. Or you can provide a bunch of free In-N-Out burger, but you're going to get a lot more bears.
Yes, you are.
You keep whoever the campground is that provides the most free In-N-Out burger, word will get around in the bear community and you will attract the most bears.
100%.
The picnic table that is responsible, puts the food away, locks it up, locks the dumpsters. Bears get the message, good and bad. No bears over at that campground. That's how we do it. California is a picnic table filled with In-N-Out burgers.
Absolutely.
And
right
so we get the most bears. But whatever blue progressive sanctuary city, whatever, the bears go where the getting's good. And so do human beings, and basically so do cats, so do all species. We just wander. If you're a cat, you go to where the saucer milk is. If there's no saucer milk at that house, but there's one at that house, then I'm going to end up there. And guess what? Tomorrow there's going to be 5 cats, and a week from now it's going to be 100 cats. Because that's what we do.
Because they're all going to have babies.
That's what we do. So understand how that works and act accordingly. The blue states go, look, those bears need to be treated with dignity. those bears need a seat at the picnic table. Those bears are hardworking. No bears illegal. I go, all right, you're just going to get more fucking bears
Honestly,
and more fucked up
they were
stuff.
probably indigenous to the area.
Of course.
Those bears were here first. It was their picnic table until the white man showed up.
The headline to this piece will be Adam Carolla compares illegals to animals. That's it. What a
They need to
horrible
be stuffed and mounted.
It was a regal animal, though.
Very regal and dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gorgeous.
But what I'm basically saying is forget the value judgment. I don't think bears are good or bad. Bears do what we let them do. It's easier to go to the dumpster and tear that apart than it is to hunt or forage.
Agreed.
So
Why wouldn't they go to Massachusetts and be like, great, I get $3,500 a week?
Well, but it's
and a place to stay.
Look, and it's understood that's kind of on us. You leave the dumpster open. You know, look, no one goes and yells at the bear. They go, "Who left the dumpster open?" You go, "Oh shit, I got drunk." Yeah. The last thing I threw out was a bottle. I threw out a 6 or Strohs, and all right, it's the guy who didn't do. Okay, so politicians are in charge of the dumpster. Shut the lid and be responsible, or not. You can be Ron DeSantis, who shuts the dumpster, or you can be Gavin Newsom, who leaves the dumpster open and then wants to know what's going on with the dumpster.
Yeah. Oh, he drove me out of California. I live in Nevada now. Those horrible policies drove me out of here. And I love this state. Most beautiful state in the union with everything. Can't be here. And every time I come back, like even today, it just kind of gives me a weird feeling, like I'm angry about it. I feel like I'm under the thumb of Gavin Newsom, not Newscum. I won't call him that because apparently his kids listen to it on the radio. But it's awful. I always compare him to Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. He looks like him. He feels greasy like that to me, and it's terrifying. So I couldn't be here anymore in this beautiful, wonderful state because it's horribly run, because they let the bears just go nuts and eat everything, and they feed them and they get surprised that there's more bears.
You know what would soothe that fresh wound on you, Dean Cain? A little in and out. Brother.
Oh, yes, sir. As a matter of fact, it was.
But you got that shit in Nevada now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, because In-N-Out's getting run out of California,
too.
Like everything else.
Their headquarters is still going to be here.
Well, they're going to change that in time, too, I'm sure.
You think?
Well, look, the corporate tax rate is so much better. And
I know.
Everybody, look, businesses are in the business of making money. So where's your allegiance? I don't have. We have allegiance to making money.
Yeah, that's 100%.
That's the bottom line. All right, we'll cut the show a little bit short today because I got to travel, and it just turned into a cluster.
Don't check your ribeye. Don't check the ribeye.
Where's the ribeye?
Remember you lost your ribeye in Minnesota because it was in your luggage?
When you said check it, I thought you meant
don't
look at it. Yeah, you would check bag ribeye. No, that's on the way back. But I do have food in the back of my car.
He does. It's a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm the dumpster and the bear in this equation. All right, tonight I'll be in Portland, Helium, doing shows over there. A couple shows, maybe a few tickets left as well. You can go to adamcarolla.com for all that. Dean Cain, everyone. Little Angels is the name of the movie. Angel.com. Angel Studios, good dudes, Provo, all that. Dry Bar, love all that show. Alicia Krause, Op-Ed Weekly in the Washington Examiner. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Really good. Dean, always great to see you, my friend.
Adam, a pleasure. Travel safely. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Alicia Krause and Dean Cain saying Mahala. Joseph is here. The book, Making Reagan, is out as we speak with Megyn Kelly doing the forward as well. Rotten Tomatoes, you're going to tell us?
Well, I was just going to tell you guys that we've applied to Guinness World Book of Records for the official status as the greatest gap in the history of every movie ever made between critics and people who watch the movie at Rotten Tomatoes. It's 98% filmgoers, 18% critics. 80 points. The previous record was 65. Not that I keep track of these things.
No, I've been... Listen, Dawson's been around long enough. You can remember 10 years ago me saying Rotten Tomatoes is broken. Yeah. It's broken. And you also remember all the assholes around me explaining that I was paranoid.
Yes.
And if I wanted a higher score, I needed to make a better movie. And I was like, it's no longer about the product. It's about how they feel about the subject or the filmmaker. And I told everyone that, and they told me they tell me what they tell me about everything. You don't know what you're talking about. And then I have to wait, and then they never apologize for being wrong. But it was 10 years ago. I was saying, listen, it depends who's making the film and or what the subject of the film is, and that weighs heavily into the review. Now, to be fair, in a weird way, at the beginning of Rotten Tomatoes being corrupted, which, by the way, who are you talking to? I've made 7 films. None of them have gotten to Sundance. I made films about the first black race car driver ever with Robert Redford, who's Sundance, from Butch and Sundance. I made a movie about Paul Newman of Butch and Sundance, of Sundance Film Festival. There are 98% on Rotten Tomatoes all the way across the board, all rejected. I submitted my movie, The Hammer, and the guy said, we don't like Adam Carolla, so fuck off. So I'm not making this stuff up. It's what happens. And you guys live in some world where I'm supposed to make a movie that's better. The average score on a Sundance movies at Rotten Tomatoes is 51.5 or something. My average score is 87 or something. So what do you mean make a better product? This fix has been in for a long time. But here's what's happened now. Rotten Tomatoes, all of their film critics were I would say what I say about Fauci, compromise. They went to college and were liberal arts. They became film critics. They're a self-selecting group of liberal people who cannot help but mix their politics with their profession, just like they can't do it when they work at Starbucks and they fucking yell at you to put your mask on or something like that. Like they can't stop themselves. So they did it. Now, the audience remained in the dark and sort of unmobilized for the first 5 years this thing went on, maybe 8 years, because Dawson, I've been complaining about this for 10 years now, and the audience just sort of went, I don't know what's going on. So the audience score didn't change.
Right.
The critics score dropped. Now the audience has caught on and went, fuck Snow White. So now it's the Hatfields and the McCoys. Yeah. You have the lowest, and look, I'm not saying Reagan's not a 98, but some of that is a pushback against what they're doing. So maybe if everything was as it was 20 years ago, maybe the audience would have been 86 or something. But there's a percentage of the audience that is actually fighting against those people.
Well,
now,
listen, a little breaking news. I just out of my own curiosity, I began to call around because I don't mind a 47, but 18 is a little low. You and I were 47 for No Safe Spaces. 47 is a good number. 18 is a little low. I found that I called two organizations who review movies. They're very religious organizations, but they're very legitimate, millions of viewers. They are not counted because of their organization's position on LGBT issues.
Oh, right. So there you go. So they're out.
So you got Hank in his mom's basement in Cleveland is counted, and this group with millions of followers doesn't count. So.
Yeah, the other thing that'll fuck you up too, and I know you want to weigh in, Dawson, but listen, hold 1 second. The other thing they're going to have to fix is is it IMDb? Where's the other critic? What's the other?
There's ratings on IMDb.
Is it IMDb?
Yeah.
So I'll have something on IMDb, and it'll be 30% 10 stars and 22% 9 stars, but then it'll be 46% 0. Because that's the haters, right? And the thing that's crazy, if you look at IMDb, I think it's IMDb, and you look at something I've done, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's Uppity or something, or maybe it's The Hammer or something like that. You can see the way it goes, like mostly 9s and 10s, and it all gets down. By the time you get down to 2s and 3s, it's like barely anybody. And then you get to 0, and now it jumps up past 10. So then they go, what's your score? 7.1. But it's not a 7.1. It's all the zeros offset the other thing. So somebody's going to have to figure this out.
That reminds me of, Cinema Score?
Yes.
You get the A plus, A minus Cinema Score.
Yeah, look at this graph.
What the hell?
Yeah, there you go.
Look at this graph.
Just a troll.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
You know what's going on there.
I can't quite read it from here, but Dawson can. This is for Uppity.
Yeah. 20% they gave you a 1, and then 28% gave you a 10. So it's like either they.
But here's my whole point. When you get down, okay.
Those are protest votes.
Exactly,
I get it, but here's what I'm saying. It's 23.5%, give it 10 out of 10.
Right.
And then it's 15%, give it a 9, and 18 or 19%, give it a 8. By the time you get down to 4%, to a 4, 0.7%, a 3, 0.4%, a 2, you give Uppity 2 stars or 2 out of 10, 0.1%, but then you get to 1 and you're 20%.
70% of people gave it at least a 7.
Right. So then you check the overall rating and it's a 7.1, except for that's because we're 20% 0. So somebody's got to figure out a way to flush this out.
Yeah.
Back to Rotten Tomatoes, there's another interesting wrinkle here on movies that they know they're going to have to do positive reviews on, like Uppity, the Willie T. Ribbs story. They'll just refuse to review it.
Yes,
so you will not get enough reviews. And 3 people have reviewed. 3 people have reviewed Uppity. They all said thumbs up. 97% of the audience loves it. Right. No Rotten Tomatoes score.
Right. The movie was on Netflix. The movie has made at least 15, top 10 sports, whatever,
like
African American
yeah.
lists. It's made every list. And it's been on Netflix, but it will not be reviewed because Dawson's right.
They have to say Adam Carolla did something good.
Right. And so they don't. So there's a way where they just don't say anything.
By the way, it's not just Carolla. In no safe spaces, you were okay. The problem was the other person.
Oh, Prager. Yeah, no. So anyone who's conservative.
I get an email from one of the distributors, and they said, he's my friend, so he was honest. The typical response in Hollywood is, it wasn't right for us. But he goes, we loved the movie. The problem was Dennis Prager. None of us in this company want to be associated with him. So sorry.
It's so weird. It's the most congenial, friendly, jovial. First off, Dennis Prager's a lot nicer than I am. I think you know that. He's just a friendly guy. He's just a good dude. He just is conservative. And that's all. He's a good citizen. All right.
I mean,
hopefully this is coming to an end. I don't know. Well, they ruined their own brand because I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes anymore.
But in fairness, Adam, I get a little bit that the audience is very, very smart, and they know. And the converse is actually true. I get a little bit nervous. The New York Times reviewed Reagan, and they were kind of nice. Mm-hmm. That made me nervous because the fans are going to go, wait a minute. The New York Times likes this movie. There's something wrong with it. So
yeah,
they know.
I would listen. I would rather have a 0 than a 32 on Rotten Tomatoes. I just feel like if it's that low, you can just blame the haters. The worst as a filmmaker, the worst score that I could the scenario that would bother me the most would be like 21% from the critics and 19% from the people. That's the one that would fuck me up. That would fuck me up the most.
Then you know.
All right, you got some news there?
Got some news, exciting action on a women's basketball court. Long-time basketball coach Jim Zullo has broken his silence after a viral video showing him pulling a player's ponytail after a tough loss in the state
finals. Are these guys in high school?
Yeah, it's high school, yeah.
All right, so he comes up, he's pissed at one of the chicks.
Yeah.
Pulls her ponytail. It's funny, when you talk to women about this, they go, this guy pulled her ponytail. And I go, what'd she do?
Yeah.
And they go, who cares what she did? And I go, oh, no. And then they go, there's never any excuse for physical violence. I said, when my daughter was 3, she spit in the nanny's face and the nanny slapped her. And I said, good. There'll be no more spitting in your face. And there never was. And then I thought, I grew up in a world where, coaches pushed you over or smack. Get down in a 3-point stance. Get down. The guy looks in, he kicks your arm out and you fall on your face. You're screwing up your stance, Carolla. You know what I mean? Like, I live in that world. Yeah. I'm fine with it. I get it. I get that the person, they tugged on the ponytail. By the way, has anyone seen black chicks at the airport? There's some ponytail tugging going on in 2024 when something gets canceled and they go.
How did we survive anyway? How did we Gen Xers survive? All the stuff we saw and went through. Ponytail is the least of our problems.
Yeah, this would have been a zero burger. I don't appreciate it, and I don't wish it was my daughter. But if somebody said, well, he tugged on your daughter's ponytail hard, I'd go, why? And if they said, because she spit in his face or called him an asshole or said she wasn't going to play hard or whatever it is, I'd go, oh, okay.
Well, she got fouled out and then got into it with the coach and cussed him out. He's 81 and now out of a job.
She cussed the coach out?
Yeah, I guess he said that she jawed at him, but now he's doing a complete public apology, completely unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't pull on whatever. But listen, I don't know. See, it's a weird thing. It's like the Spanish soccer coach or president who's, they try to give 3 years in jail for hugging and kissing and celebrating on the podium after the win. I'm like, is he a bad guy? Well, she felt bad. I know, but what did he do? What did he do? She feels like she was okay. I don't That's not where I want to live. I want to know what happened before this.
I put a scene in Reagan of the 12-year-old Reagan. He's being bullied by some kid. The kid chases him home. He tries to get into his house. His mother knows what's going on. She closes the door and says, "You go out and fight that bully."
Yeah.
What mother has done that since 1950 in this country?
Nobody.
Not one. Our mothers would have said, "Come in for milk and cookies. We'll call the school board. We'll get that kid out."
Well, you don't know my mama.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know who won the fight, but the point is, an 11-year-old kid was taught, you go and confront your enemies. You don't run away from them. And our country is where it is because we don't have a lot of moms like that anymore.
This guy made a statement, I'm guessing, that says he deeply regrets his behavior. Yeah, I listen, he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit, is what I'm saying. I don't care. And that appalls women when I say that. I go, I don't care. She's fine. And by the way, I want to know what she did. She could have fucked up badly. She could have cost him the game.
She did lose the game because she was the highest. She's the highest scorer on the team, and then she got fouled out of the game. Then when he confronted her about it, there was a back and forth, and he yanked her hair.
Okay. Is she okay? Is she in the hospital? Is she able to play again? Can she attend college? Can she ever go to Fantastic Sam's without breaking down into tears? Is she okay? And the answer is, yeah, she's fine. Okay. Then what are we talking about? I'm so fucking tired of everybody. First off, people get aborted every day. No one gives a shit. People get shot every day. No one gives a shit. In the inner city, there's 14-year-olds shooting each other every day. There's people dying in car crashes. Look, the average kid gets more fucked up on a bird scooter than this guy. I don't know what happened to this girl. Nothing is the answer. So the guy's an idiot. So she learned. Okay, moving on. Who cares?
Yeah. Moving on to the second woman is strangled to death during an overnight visit at a California prison. Mule Creek Prison. A tragic and disturbing story where this woman was strangled to death during an overnight family visit at a state prison.
So it's a conjugal visit that's overnight.
Yeah, the guy who did it allegedly is somebody serving a quadruple life sentence.
We got to put that guy behind bars.
Yeah.
Do other countries have conjugal visits? Is this just an American thing?
No, they do, yeah.
I will say this. I will say this about the conjugal visit. Okay, couple things. I don't like it. Tex Watson of the Manson family had 4 kids from inside of prison.
Yeah.
He sired kids from in the joint after what he did. Okay, but I did hear from a prison guard once, and I just want you to know that I'm open to things, you know what I mean? And I will listen. I complain about Nithya Raman or AOC or whoever, Kamala Harris, but if they ever sat down and explained something and it made sense, I'd go, okay, yeah. Now, right now, you're telling me Toyota is at fault for their catalytic converters being stolen, and it doesn't make sense to me. But if you walked me through the process and why it was, other than you're angry, well, then maybe I'd go along with you. And I had a prison guard say once, he goes, look, it sounds nuts, but it keeps the guys in check. Because if they know they got a conjugal visit coming up, they're on the fucking straight and narrow. And if they get out of hand, it's gone. So you tell them, you got a date with some pussy in 3 weeks, but you fucking start a riot in the cafeteria, no pussy for you.
Yeah.
That keeps guys sitting down
All right.
in their seat. And I go, okay, all right, it's a way to keep everyone kind of motivated and in line. I'll buy it. That makes sense.
If it works.
Well, he killed.
Yeah. 62-year-old Stephanie Diane Dowles was visiting her husband, David Brinson, a man serving 4 life sentences for a 1990s quadruple murder, which was found dead inside Mule Creek State Prison. Shocking part, this is the second woman in less than a year to be killed under similar circumstances during a family visit at the same facility.
If I was a prisoner there, I would give the biggest dude maintain conversation ever. Like, you fuckers keep killing your wives and I don't get any pussy. You understand? They're going to shut this whole thing down because you guys can't stop from choking out your wives.
Yeah.
They were coming to visit you for a conjugal visit. Like, if there's ever a time where you should just say thank you and shut up, it'd be her making the 3-hour drive to the prison to have sex with your raggedy ass.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's not like she just crashed your Cadillac, or fouled out of a game. It's not like she did something egregious like fouling out of a junior high basketball game. She came over to fuck you. And for this, you kill her. Well, that's a fine how do you do?
I think we need to visit other prisons in other countries. I'm thinking about Japan, for instance. They don't mess around in Japan. You get arrested for pot. Remember Paul McCartney spent 10 days in a Japanese jail because he had some pot with him? There's no conjugal visits in Japan that I know.
I like any place where you get caned.
That's Singapore, right?
For like spitting gum out on the sidewalk or stealing a poster in your hotel room or something.
It's supposed to be a little uncomfortable, right?
Also, real clean sidewalks over there where they do the caning, right?
Not much pot in Japan.
Right. It kind of works, and you can go, I don't like it, but you go, hey, listen, I walk around here, it looks like it's a shit show. So, I don't know. Can't argue with the results. All right, so now this guy's got a fifth life, whatever.
Yeah, it's maybe coming up on a fifth life sentence. He hasn't been arraigned yet.
He's there. I mean, somebody has to show up at that guy's cell, right? At like 8 a.m. and go like, all right, let's go now, get your things. And then he's got to be sitting there going, she's dead. And he's got the guard who shows up is going to go, really?
Well, actually, in the original story, it was explained that he said, hey, my wife passed out. Mm-hmm. And was kind of making not real about it. Was saying that then they investigated it and he
didn't want to get into trouble.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
In other news, Luigi Mangione wants a laptop in jail while he awaits his trial in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO.
He needs a laptop. Can I say this? It is pretty much straight across the board the Venn diagram of the people that hate Elon Musk and love the guy who murdered a guy in the streets of Manhattan. They're the exact same people. They're all the same people. The people that hope that Elon Musk dies in his sleep for what he's doing and worship at the altar of the killer. They're the same people. Does that say something about those people? Can we learn that maybe
I think it's fascinating.
Something is off in the moral department for those people.
I've seen crossover of people who are more conservative who kind of allowed this guy only because they've dealt with the healthcare system and been denied for simple things
no one is happy. The guy's dead. No one. Conservatives aren't happy he was assassinated. They're not sending him their panties to the prison.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. They're not cheering when the guy's name comes up on a late night show or something. It's the same people who think Elon's a criminal and think this guy is a folk hero.
But the Elon thing is switched so quickly because for so many years he was the hero to one political side. Then all of a sudden it's give back your Teslas, we're going to boycott. It happens so fast.
Yeah.
You can't, people aren't allowed to grow or change their opinions on anything. They turn on you. That's what I think is so interesting there. I've never hated him or loved. I mean, I respect him all along.
Well, the hardest they go is the ones they used to like or the ones who should be there, like black females. When black females go Republican, they go nuts on them, or gay. Whenever one of their special groups goes to the other side, that's who gets it the hardest.
Right. Even to the Joe Rogan types. I mean, you've experienced that to some extent over your career, haven't you?
Yeah, but I was always a douche. I was never looked up to by any group. I was always considered, just a doofus from the Man Show. So I didn't really, the worst is the sort of fall from grace. You know what I mean? I was always blue collar construction boxing coach who just said shit that was super unpopular into the radio all the time. And so they were always arguing with me. I never
transitioned smooth into keeping the argument.
Well, I didn't transition at all. I just did I've been saying the same. I've said the exact same thing for 30 years into a microphone. I haven't altered any opinions.
Right.
They all just went batshit crazy.
Right.
And that's what they did. So it's hard for them to do the what happened to me thing because for me, there's recorded history. There's 30 years of nightly saying every single thing on both sides. It's like, I was talking to Dr. Drew about this. Oh, Bill Maher's talking about too much regulation in the building codes. Jesus Christ, who's been talking about regulation and building codes for 30 fucking years into a microphone?
Right.
So now I live in a world where me and Bill Maher are completely simpatico on over-regulation and burdensome regulation from the government as it pertains to building codes. Yeah. I walked right off a construction site and into a radio studio and started screaming about building codes in Los Angeles, and everyone just looked at me like, I don't fucking know, what the fuck's this guy talking about? That was 30 years ago.
Yeah. But I think we grew up in a generation where, if you remember when Prop 13 passed?
Yes.
1978, I was in the 4th grade. My liberal teachers said all hell is going to break loose if this passes. You will not come to school next year, whatever. I come back to school in the fall. The only difference I noticed were no free pencils and no free paper anymore. I had to bring my own pencils and paper. Now, on the other side, the right went crazy over the left. Remember, we had smog. We couldn't go out to recess because it was so smoggy.
Smog alerts.
Right. The right said, if you do this, if you regulate this, all hell's going to break loose. It didn't break loose. The air was clean. So we've seen both sides yell and scream their ideological stuff, but the truth is somewhere in the middle. In both cases, our lives were better because Prop 13 passed and we cleaned up whatever the smog was at the time.
Yeah, they always... Well, there's commercial. I miss all the political commercials where the good-looking wife is sitting there reading the paper at the breakfast table, and the guy walks in and wants to talk about breakfast, and she's like, have you read the details of Prop 27? I'm like, who is this woman? I've never met this woman in my life. She's reading all the small print from the prop. And I used to, there was a commercial once where the commercial was for a prop that was going to add 20 cents to a pack of cigarettes, and it was a white guy. I like any movie or any commercial where a white guy's a gangbanger. Yeah. I'm already in. It's a good looking white guy, but they tell him don't shave for like 2 days. It'll make you look like a gangbanger, you know. And he's clearly just a good looking actor guy, hasn't shaved for 2 days, and he's talking and he goes, prop whatever passes, it's going to add 20 cents to the pack of cigarettes. But me and my gang members will go to Nevada and we'll buy the cigarettes where there's no tax, and we'll bring them back here and we'll just sell them on the street. Like someone's walking to a 7-Eleven and the guy go, hey, what are you buying? Cigarettes? Come to my primered van in this alley. Like, I think I can save you 25 cents, you know. And then at the end he goes, and with that money, we can buy a lot of these. And he pulls his shirt up and there's a gun stuffed in his waistband. And I thought, this is where we're going? If you tack on 20 cents to a pack of cigarettes, this is what's going to happen. And then it passes, and it never happened. Has anyone ever been to a 7-Eleven in Southern California and had some gangbanger say, oh, what are you buying? Cigarettes? Yeah, come over this way. I can give you a break. I've just got back from Laughlin. I can sell you some of this. Yeah. No, but it's always great. The promise.
Yeah.
The doom and the gloom. And now we got the end of our democracy, right? Because you elect Trump, and then our democracy ends.
Well, we may need Doge California.
Oh my God!
Imagine what they would uncover if Doge comes to California.
All right, let's do one more.
Yeah, one last story. UFC champ Cain Velasquez is off to prison for 5 years for shooting at a man accused of molesting his son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's but shocking, heartbreaking. UFC champ Cain Velasquez has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for a 2022 shooting incident that made national headlines. He got into a high-speed chase, opening a fire on a vehicle carrying Harry Goularte, a man accused of molesting Cain Velasquez's 4-year-old son hundreds of times.
His son?
Yes.
Hundreds of times.
That's what's going on. And he is still out on bail and attempting to fight his case. Cain pleaded no contest to attempted murder and multiple gun charges. Prosecutors prosecutors called it a vigilante shooting spree.
He just fired into the back of the guy's truck, right?
Yeah, and he actually hit the guy's dad.
Yeah.
So, he wounded him, man.
But the dad of the serial pedophile doesn't fall too far from the tree. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, look, I don't know what you did with this boy, but you didn't sit around and watch Davy and Goliath with this kid, and then it was off.
I know.
Something he did.
Something going on.
Somebody's egg got scrambled when they were a kid. Like,
what is that? There's something in there.
when you think it's a good idea to do this, usually somebody did it to you. Is what?
Yeah. And the guy has that pedo face a bit. You know what I mean? It's.
I have resting pedo face, but that's just as God created me. It has nothing to do with ideology or what's going on with my face. Mark's got a little resting pedo face too, but it's not his fault.
Well, I think that dads are the key to when the dad isn't around. I'm telling you.
Oh man,
we dads have antennas, and sometimes moms miss the cues, and we dads can spot crazy people. We keep them far away from our kids.
Yeah, got to have the dad in the picture. And listen.
But there's a lot of people talk about cheering a vigilante. So many Twitter is just overwhelming with Cain Velasquez, free Cain. Everybody is very like, what? Give him a medal. And I get it. Like, if somebody does, even allegedly, does that to your son.
No, listen, this is one of those things where you go, look, this guy's dad, he's being a dad, and his kid was molested, and allegedly, I guess, and whatever. I get all that. I get the part where you're not allowed to drive down city streets and fire a gun out the window of your car at a guy in front of you who may or may not have molested your son, and then hit his dad and or hit a kid who's walking down the sidewalk. Like, bullets go, they pass things, they hit other things, So... yeah, sorry, it's not the Wild West. Like, you're not allowed to chase a guy down the street and unload a clip into the back of his car. So, it's nuanced. And my thing is, like, the pedo guy deserves 1,000 years in prison, and Cain deserves 2 years in prison for this. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Do you ever, do you know Cain?
Yeah, I wrestled with him a bit up in San Jose. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's it's an unfortunate situation. I have empathy for him, but he'll do that 2 years standing on his head. He's fine. He's tough.
So he got 5 years. How long's he doing?
He'll do like 2.5, maybe. I don't know. It depends. He already has credit for 9 months, and so depending on how they chip away at that, he could get 33% because he's first time conviction.
I don't know if they let you do this, but I'd like to get some credit for prison. You know what I mean? In case something goes wrong later. You know what I mean?
Do weekends in jail and get your double time?
No, don't be stupid. I was thinking, though, between the ages of like 18 and 22, I wasn't really up to much.
Just kick it.
Let's just every other month go to prison. By the time I turned 23, I got 2 years under my belt.
What do you do if you don't use it up? You just give it to your kid?
You will it. I could will it to it. It has to be blood. Let's not be stupid. I can't just sell it on eBay, you know what I mean, to a criminal. But then my kid gets his third DUI, and this time somebody got hurt, you know what I mean? And so
you got pretty good kids. They're not going to use that up, I don't think.
It doesn't have to be DUI. It could be, any form of manslaughter, roommates getting on their nerves or whatever. People drink, stuff happens, is what I'm saying. I would then give them those 2 years, I would bequeath them. I like when people do this. I like when people go total false equivalency. Go, I got a Paul Newman race car, yeah? When I die, who's that go to? Your kid? Okay. Then they do that one, and you go, no, I'm still not there yet. But yeah, I between the ages of 18 and 22, I could have done month in, month out, and got 2 years under my belt. And I could have learned welding or a second language or something. It would have been a lateral move from sleeping on a futon with a dude in North Hollywood in a place with no air conditioning,
We have the scene in the film in No Safe Spaces. You were turned down for the fire department during that time.
Yes, I was, yeah.
Right? And then 7 years later.
Years later, I got the notice to try out for the fire department.
Because you were the wrong gender, the wrong color, the wrong everything.
Yeah, the guy who took my application just kind of went, don't even bother. Don't even expect. Like, if you think you're heading home and going to get a letter from the LA Fire Department in the next, work week or something, it's like, he's just like, don't even. You better go get another job. That's what he
there's Adam Carolla's white privilege right there.
Kicking in. Always kicking in. All right, Mayhem. You've said it all. Mark Joseph, everyone. Making Reagan's the name of the memoir. Out as we speak with a foreword by who else? Megyn Kelly. Listen to the Megyn Kelly show as well. And you can go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla. For Mark Joseph and Megyn Kelly and Mayhem saying mahalo. Jay's got the Crowdwork special. That's on YouTube. And then dates as well coming up. Where do we go to find your touring schedule, Jay?
BigJComedy.com.
Oh, okay.
My new tour, Big J. Okerson, Peter North American tour. Coming on a city near you. If you get it, you get it.
Yeah, the decorator's been in here before.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. You interviewed Peter North?
Yeah, I did.
That's got to be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, does he rule or not at all? I would assume not at all.
He's Canadian.
Really?
Yeah.
That explains it. We warmed his balls up and there was all that jizz in there.
Nice call.
It was like a melting glacier in there.
Yeah. It is a weird thing, yes. He produces copious amounts of semen, and for some reason, that's an important part of the visual experience for us, which is a sad testimonial. It's also, we're horrible when you're like, I got some great porn, but the guy's wearing a rubber, and you're like, fuck it, I'm out. Like, why is it rubber ruining?
The guy is very oddly important in pornography. Yeah. Oddly important. It's got to be a humongous penis. I need to see this girl earn her cash.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I see the word cream pie, I'm like, boring.
It also makes you wonder how many other guys have that ability and we don't know it. Because there has to be guys sitting home going, hey, man, I've seen. Okay, he's fine.
Yeah,
and you're like,
huge.
And you're like, oh, you're so good. Why don't you? Because I'm a dentist. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone is going into porn just because they have a huge load. Like, I'm a Jehovah's Witness who has a huge load, but I'm not going to film it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Save it for their wives. What a waste of great jizz.
But what percentage? Like, we assume Peter North is the only guy who can do that, but it's the only guy who's willing to let us watch him do it. I would say there are many more who would be like, I'm not going to let you watch me do this just because I can do it.
Just live with that secret. How many people do you think just in this studio have enormous loads? We know Byron can suck his own wiener.
Yeah, that we know. And he can do mine.
Yes.
You didn't know that about him.
So if you could suck your own dick, you don't even know if you have big loads.
That's right. So there's a Peter North, but is it? So you'd have to kind of go, well, okay, there's 335 million people in this country. Let's open it to the world, though. You know what I mean? And we can rule China out, probably in Japan for some reason. But what I'm saying is there has to be other people who can do what he does. We just don't know about it.
And very few in pornography. The ones that do have their own, and I'm sorry to use an industry term here, compilations.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I hate to pull out industry terms.
Also, I wonder, there must be some sort of sweet spot where you go, look, you don't beat off for 3 days, but don't do 2 weeks. You'll have a retrograde ejaculation or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Most is celery juice. That's what Tommy Lee says his huge loads come from. And I believe Peter North says the same
I saw him on Inside the Actor Center. You're right. Yeah, I do recall that episode when James Lipton asked him where his huge loads came from.
Celery juice. Could it be possible?
Let me tell you something. People, it's like once in a while you see some guy with great calf muscles,
Sure.
and they go, I used to play volleyball in high school. I'm like, okay, this is not that. This is just great calves. You're 41. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you just have great calves. You know what I mean? Tommy Lee, you just have a load. It's not celery juice that's doing any of this stuff.
Some people just produce more.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's interesting.
I've never been. In fact, anytime I've ever shot a distance that I found impressive of any kind, whoever else was involved in that with me, we do like a, look at that.
Recorded it.
Yeah, it's a real, like, can you believe that? No way. What? The wall? Shut up.
Worst gig ever. Peter North's stepmom through those formative years. You know what I mean? Like 13 to the time he turned 19 and moved out to the States. You imagine that poor woman having to deal with the fucking socks and the comforter. Every place is a crime scene
of jizz.
Yeah, walk in his room and just slip, fucking feet go flying over her head.
How much would it suck to be Peter North's child or father and not have a big dick and shoot baby loads?
Oh,
yeah.
The first time a girl goes, like, jumps off of his dick and goes, like, hose me down. Right. And it just, like, hits her like an Indian tear.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I thought you were Peter North's son.
Yeah. I know.
I don't want your laugh.
It doesn't really work. Like, you know, Michael Jordan's son doesn't play hoop, you know. Probably legendary load. I don't know if you heard that, but no,
Bronny James is clearly the smaller load of the two.
Yes, it's got to be. It's a cross to bear. Is what I'm saying.
Knowing your father's a huge cock and a wonderful load.
It's also bizarre.
I met Nina Hartley once, and that was the first question I asked her. I go, are Peter North's loads that big? And she goes, he produces 3 tablespoons. The average man produces less than a teaspoon. And I think it was the only words we said to each other. Danny Bonaducci walked in and threw things up in a disarray.
Well, speaking of measuring loads, and I'm writing this stuff down for my dry bar special coming up, you know. Hey, you guys all know the Norseman, right? A lot of knowing nods out there.
Okay, yeah.
Now, Dawson, you can look this up, but it was always alleged that the band 10cc was named after that. Wasn't it?
It is, I believe, yeah.
Which is
I've heard it.
People have all heard it, but I don't know.
Have you felt it on your back is the question.
Is it a Richard Gere type gerbil situation, or is it actually something? All right, do some news, man.
Well, you're not going to like that we're going to stay right on this. An Ohio and Mississippi bill aims to make ejaculating without intent to conceive a felony, costing over $10,000. Yeah, the legislation dubbed the Conception Begins at Erection Act pretty much tries to criminalize coming without coming, like without trying to make a baby.
Oh, I see.
It's sort of a troll. The bill has several exceptions: men using contraception, donating sperm, masturbating, or engaging in sexual activities with LGBTQ individuals would not be subject to these fines.
What do you think the average ratio is? Like, you ejaculating in the presence of a woman, with a woman, whatever she may be doing, or on your own. And I know what the ratio is for me. It's not a good ratio. It's not. Although I got off to a head start, like in high school. Like I probably built up a pretty large number before I even got with the woman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Jerking off to sex.
But there's got to be what would be considered a good ratio. You know, like a 3-to-1 ratio would be a good.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a good ratio, right?
But also, I think as you aging, I think does this too. It starts evening out the number more. When you were younger, you jerked off so much more than you fucked.
You could never keep up with that ratio.
And then if you're not with somebody for a little while, even if you fuck with somebody every day for the year you're together, then you go through a spell where you're not. You were also still jerking off in that year. But as you get older, how many times now I'm I'm like, oh, I'll do this and I'll jerk off and I'll go to bed. And I just start watching true crime and I'm like, I guess just bed. It's so not cool to jerk off.
Yeah, well, especially when you're living at Dr. Drew's house.
Oh, yeah. That would make me second guess it constantly.
There's an extra element involved with it. But
and he's going to psychoanalyze why you're doing it.
It is true that you hit some sort of threshold when you toy with the idea of beating off and give up on it.
Yeah.
And then go to bed, which is nothing you would have done when you were 19.
If you were going to do it, you were going to do it.
Right. It was all systems go. But there wasn't ever that sort of kick the can down the road kind of masturbation thing. And when you get older, you go, and it's true, you get caught up on some Netflix special or something, and then it's done.
My home-based masturbation is at an all-time low because it's without volume. It just takes too long. I'm perusing too much, too many open tabs. But when I'm on the road in a hotel room, you can have volume, which changes everything, and it can be much faster. But then I get on the road, and then you're just tired at night, and then you're like, I'll do it tomorrow during the day. And then the sun's coming in, and I'm like, I should do something more productive than jerk off.
Yeah, my thing is like, I'll do it on the shuttle on the way to the airport, because that's downtime.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That time belongs only
and sometimes
to you.
there's only 4 or 5 people on there. All right, sorry. What else you got, man?
We got some more news. The president of New York University's college Republicans forced to resign after calling Barron Trump an oddity on campus.
I don't get this one.
Me neither.
His last name is Trump, and he's 7 foot tall. So we're already squarely in the oddity department, right?
Yeah, but she was forced to step down, and she says her comments were misconstrued, and she's actually criticizing the media's unhealthy fascination with Barron and general lack of respect for his privacy as he tries to navigate college life.
It's the president's son.
I know. Everything about it is weird.
Can you just leave him alone?
But I don't know why she would have to step down or why they took such offense to this. Yeah,
I don't know.
You can't say a kid's a weirdo?
He is pretty
I don't know. You should hope, though. Let me just say this. Everyone I know has been shit canned, but no one I've ever known or grew up with, or no one in my family's ever had to step down. Step down.
Yeah.
You know, take it in the spirit in which I'm delivering it. It means you did something at some point if you have to step down. You know, like prime ministers have to step down. You know, dock workers get fired.
Yeah,
you know,
some bullshit.
If you have to step down, you've sort of arrived. You know, it's a good sign that you're stepping down.
That's the whole thing. Said he was an oddity.
Yeah, well, the College Republicans of America deem her remarks inappropriate, and they say they do not align with the values and principles of their organization. So I guess the subtext here is that she sort of criticized Trump.
I don't know. I think they're overreacting here.
I agree.
You think?
Can I say this too? We're not really factoring in that we all know about life. They didn't like this bitch to begin with.
Yeah.
And so when they don't like you, they look for excuses to get rid of you, like I've done with roommates and stuff, you know, like you don't like the fucking guy, and so you go, listen, man, you left the bread out one too many times, so I gotta have to move on. But you're really saying, I don't like it. And when we don't understand in politics and all these kinds of roles, you're like, good, it doesn't seem like that much that they're asking the person. It's like, they probably didn't like her.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how people work. And if they really like you, they bend over backwards
to save your job.
To save your job. Right. So keep that in mind. Like, nobody liked her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she sucked. A female head of the Republican thing. Someone's that in college.
Yeah.
I'm not saying female Republicans in general. Who knows? I'm saying in college, if that's what you want to be.
Yeah.
Something tells me you're not doing coke off a guy's dick.
Yeah. Oh, let me write that down for the drive.
Yeah. And by the way, I freely, I give it to you.
Well, I want to say dick. Peter North. Dick? I'll write that down. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Trevor Noah.
Does anyone think Peter North, Peter's the name of your dick, and he's from Canada?
Yeah.
Like, does anyone ever, like, sometimes stumble on to stuff? I mean, where you go, you've heard about it for 30 years, and then at some point you wake up one day and you go, Oh, that's what that means.
I always took it as boner.
Yeah, me too.
Peter North,
pointing straight up.
But he is
right.
from,
Now that we know,
he's from Canada. If I went to Canada and I just had a picture of Peter North and a picture of Rowdy Roddy Piper and a picture of, like, let's see, like Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And
like in your wallet, folded up.
And I just showed the average Canadian. Like, where do you think we'd land on the, you know, oh yeah, I know who that guy is versus I haven't seen it. Michael J. Fox, trying to
Rick Moranis,
John
Candy.
Yeah, like let's put together a power ranking.
That was all of them.
I'll bet you
we got all of them now.
Alan Thicke.
Okay, all right.
I'll bet you Peter North would probably be somewhere in the middle. I don't think he'd be at the bottom.
He'd be like below Mike Myers, above Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
I think for sure, though, now the rest of my life, that Canadian fact is one of those things I'll put in the back of my head and pull out a lot.
Yeah.
When I'm making a Canadian reference.
See,
I know your gods, Nickelback and Peter
North. What province was? Make sure, Dawson, double check my Northman math.
Can do.
Make sure he's from
Alberta.
You want the 10cc answer?
We'll find out. Yeah, 10cc.
So the story followed them around their entire career. That yes, the average amount of ejaculate is 9cc, and 10cc gave them one lauda. No, the guy who signed them to the record deal had a dream the night before he gave them their name that a band that he had signed had simultaneously topped the charts of the singles and the albums in America, and that band was called 10cc. He went to the band and said, "Here's your band name," and they said, "Okay."
All right.
And then he winked at a camera. Dream, right?
Alden Joseph Brown, a.k.a. Peter North.
Alden
Joseph Brown. Okay.
Alden Brown's a good porn name for a black porn star.
You're right.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Oh,
he was out there.
He was.
Yeah.
The Northman. It's like a Viking swinging his hammer.
We find out he's native.
Yeah.
The great moon has spoken.
62cc
cover band.
Yeah, exactly.
Cover and jizz band. All right, let's do one more.
All right, but Trevor Noah wonders aloud whether integration was right thing to do for the U.S. I think we have some footage here.
Trevor Noah is a weird dude because he comes here from South Africa and then he basically flees here and then he makes billions of dollars here, partly because he's black, because he's not that funny, and then fucking beats this country up and calls it racist the whole time, which is a weird.
It's a fortune.
No, but I mean, let's just imagine. I mean, like, let's just flip the script for a second, Big J.
Yeah.
Let's just say you go, okay, there's some nation, there's some Caribbean nation, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like a black Caribbean nation, you know? And it turns out the United States is killed your dad on the street and it's crime, and maybe they don't like white guys like you or something. They don't like guys from Philly or whatever it is. And then you flee to this Caribbean nation, right? And they kind of embrace you and they put you on TV and they let you stand in front of all of them and insult them and everything. And they pay you millions of dollars. And you just sit there and talk about how racist they are against white people.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird angle, right?
It's a very, very weird angle. But he also comes from a culture that believes you can cure AIDS by fucking babies, and if you hide from fire, it won't burn you. So.
Oh, hold on. Let me write that down for the dry bar.
Get in there.
What was that
jumping
first
off
part?
Point,
yeah,
jumping off point.
Cure AIDS by fucking.
Yeah, it's a wacky place, South Africa. But I am curious why he came here to be like, critical of the country is pretty odd. Every one of those.
Well, he didn't come here. He fled.
But that's what I'm saying. If he wants to be critical of, that's fine. But then again, he should be like, but. Thank God.
Right.
All those terrible things.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And the dry bar special, I can't say fucking babies. I'll say making whoopee. Thank you. Babies. All right, I'm just making notes.
You're putting your twist on it.
Flavor. Yeah, it's like I told you earlier. Take other people's ideas and then just put a little of your own paprika on there.
That Cool Ranch.
All right, let's hear what this turncoat has to say.
I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions were.
Pause. He's like the black Kamala Harris. He says a bunch of shit where you go, oh yeah, wait, what the fuck's he talking about again? He loves the sound of his own fucking voice. This guy talks about shit like it's important all the time.
I know there's people in comedy, I guess, who may say important things. I've never been drawn to that. And also, I feel like if I ever do like a broadcast of any kind and the conversation is an hour of earnest speech,
yes, fuck it.
I would be like, I hope that doesn't come out, or I hope they decide to put it out, because I'm like, that's not what we.
Well, unless when you say earnest, unless you mean the Hey Vern guy, which is, that's fine.
That is fine.
All right, well, hear what the
Ernest
rest
goes to South Africa.
Let's hear what the rest of the blowhard has to say.
I see Ernest goes to North Africa.
Hi, Vern. With anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean.
And you might
but
get
I would
shot.
love to know if you think integration was the right solution, maybe. On the other side of, you know, what America, of civil rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I don't think it's actually that controversial if you understand that segregation and integration weren't the only options. And you're being integrated into institutions, into a culture that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety. Why are we being integrated into that?
Yeah.
This dumb fuck. I don't know, man. Like, okay, you're gonna tell me we don't integrate people? This is America. It's like black people, Asian people. It's everybody. Mexicans. What the hell? I don't understand how he's saying that.
This, I feel like this stuff is going bizarrely backwards. I bring this point up a lot because I think it was crazy. They did like 2 Woodstock 99 documentaries.
Yeah.
And one of the, now here's the thing, I think what doesn't get said enough in a situation, I think the 90s was a rough time. I think it was a pretty great time. Maybe I'm wrong. For race relations, a great time. I think for women, it was kind of a rough time because that's when like the culture really flipped, like that girls gone wild, like show your tits,
right.
Like everything they went. Right, when they tried to do that Woodstock thing, they were doing DMX doing the song My N-Words, and he's Woodstock, you know, it's a diverse audience, but it's very white also. And when he's doing the line, he's putting the mic out to the audience, and and everyone's singing along. And I was like, oh man, that always looked so much fun when they show that performance. And then the narrative of it, they're going, these white people just willy-nilly saying the word. I'm like, the black guy next to him doesn't care because they all love DMX. And they're singing DMX's words. It's like, it's been forced now that to change. Like, if you're going to change the narrative of that, it's very easy to get where we're at now. Because if you just look at that and go, look at these white people just willy-nilly happy to say the word. He goes, they're singing a song they love.
Yeah, DMX
isn't an issue.
stole the word, made it his prose. You know what I mean? He stole it from racism and then gave it back to everyone, and then they reneged on it once AOL came out.
I came up with the greatest rapper, PNX, Peter North, X-rated porn, and he doesn't hold the mic out. He holds his hog out.
PNX and my dog fight.
Becomes like a Gallagher concert. All right, on that happy note, I can write that down. Dry bar,
we're coming for you.
I think you're at about 25 minutes already.
Easy, but you know, I'm going to probably clean 3 or 4 minutes off of that. Big J, the special, the crowd work special, them, they, out as we speak, and then the second part's coming out YouTube. Live dates, you can hop on to bigjcomedy.com.